Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hunter Base podcast. What do Maverick Hunters do when they're not hunting Mavericks? Go back to the base, recharge, shoot the shit. I'm your host, the most Zeromaster, and I'm back again with the Eski.
What? I'm here again?
Yeah,
Oh, God.
you came back, and I forgot to turn on my facial tracking.
So that's why I got told to come to the Hunter base.
Yeah. We called you back.
They told me there would be Ritz crackers and cheddar cheese, but I feel lied to now.
I didn't say anything about. Why would you want Ritz crackers?
Because they're good, especially with cheese.
What about crispers?
Little slices of salami.
What about crispers though?
I know nothing about crispers. Is this a Canadian thing?
Oh my god, maybe it is. Oh, there's
Well,
so much.
Another thing to show me when I get over there.
I was gonna say there's so many things I have to feed you when you get here. Also, I have to apologize. I made an error last time.
How could you?
So when we were doing our discussion about the 4th gen of Pokemon, we were talking about the leader of Team Galactic. I almost said Plasma, but it's Galactic.
We talked about how we kept making that mistake.
And I made a mistake. I had said, and I was going off of memory, so this is my own fault, that Pipkin Pippa was obsessed with that character, but it's not. It is Colress from, I believe, the next generation that she's
he's specifically from Black and White 2.
Yeah, from Black and White 2. Anyways, I apologize. I made that mistake. I will make a sacrifice to my SSR Pipkin Pippa card that I have from Oshi Push at some point in tribute. So, anyways.
Taking a sip of wine for your mistake.
I don't believe you.
I just did.
What, you have wine?
Yeah.
Is that why you wanted cheese? You secretly want to go to a wine and cheese party?
That actually sounds pretty nice. But no, we've got Pokemon to talk about.
We do. And actually, just for those of you who missed the last podcast episode, we talked up to about Gen 5.
Yeah.
And since the last episode, I have an update also from my casual playthrough of Platinum. I'm enjoying the game a lot more. I'm at Lake Valor, trying to stop Team Galactic, not Plasma.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to keep happening. And I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. There's still... I've been making notes. There's still a lot of things that kind of like annoy me, but that's to be considered. But I'm having a lot better time. We'll see if that continues all the way through. We'll see. But yeah. So where we left off is actually a pretty big point in when it comes to Pokemon. We left off before talking about Gen 6.
X and Y.
X and Y. I have to admit up front, I don't remember a ton about X and Y. I don't play through them like as often as I do other games in the series, so I remember them being fun. That's what I remember. But I might not have a lot to say, but there is a lot lore-wise that it really covers.
It is really funny you say that you don't remember a lot, because my stance on Gen 6 is incredibly backwards, because in a weird way, it's one of my favorites, and I actually just recently restarted a playthrough, and I'll admit I'm cheating a bit. I am doing a cheated in a shit ton of money in Master Balls run, where I just try and actually complete the Pokedex without all of the like major complications that come with completing a Pokedex.
Right.
But like it's simultaneously one of my favorite generations, because of all of the neat things it introduced. But at the same time, it is, in my opinion, one of the most forgettable generations at the same time.
Yeah, it's okay. So I guess we should set the stage proper.
Mm-hmm.
This was still in a weird time for Pokemon where um unless you were like a hardcore fan, there really wasn't much for you. Uh
Right.
and as we had said, since third gen, they had the games have been steadily trying to make the story very important to the games. Well, with minimal results, I guess you could say. But this is the one. This is the one where where it really matters. Um, and I think the other big thing about, big thing about this was the first Pokemon game, series Pokemon game that was completely 3D. Not just it being 3D models, but 3D on the 3DS. So this was a big thing for Pokemon, especially if you were a fan, like a hardcore fan. Also, like I mentioned last time, this is the first Pokemon generation where it was a worldwide release. Everybody got it at the same time. How it's usually gone is Japan would always get it first, and then the rest of the world would get it later as it got translated. But this was the first time it was going to be released worldwide, same day for everybody. And it's been that way ever since. So X and Y started that trend, and it's gone up, even to now to Legend ZA. So a lot of big steps for Pokemon with this generation. And it goes without saying, one of the biggest changes that fans still clamor for to this day, Mega Evolution.
Yep.
Mega Evolution was first introduced in 6th gen, and they did a lot to like promote that. First off, my favorite Pokemon of all time, Blaziken, got a Mega Evolution that you could unlock very easily in the game because you can get I believe they had an event Torchic or something you can get at the start of the game. I can't remember.
Yes.
And so that was exciting for me. And to this day, Blaziken and Mega Blaziken as a counterparts, still my favorite Pokemon. In fact, I did a thing on Blue Sky the other day where it was show your VTuber and your favorite Pokemon because Gage posted it, and I did a reski to that with me and Mega Blaziken, and a couple people have responded to mine. So, but yeah, no, 6th gen was big if you were a fan of Pokemon. If you were in the Pokemon fandom, which if you've been following the games ever since, whether it be from the beginning or going back as far back as 2nd, 3rd gen, like this was a huge event if you were a Pokemon fan. Like these were, I want to say, and I don't want to mince my words here, but I think this is one of the last times that a Pokemon game was really made for the fans of Pokemon. Everything afterwards seems like, with the exception of 7th gen, which we'll get into, everything afterwards seems like it's trying to expand the player base, where this one was trying to just focus on the hardcore players. And when I say hardcore, I mean people who are fans of Pokemon who are going to buy these games no matter what. I mean, for me, it was super special because of the whole finally a 3D Pokemon adventure. That was my main thing because it's something I wanted since Pokemon Stadium came out. Like, just something that like I just really was excited for.
Yeah.
And I knew it was big because a lot of my friends, even though I was done college at this point, a lot of my adult friends who were still into Pokemon picked it up. And my first playthrough of this game was not my favorite because my brother, I believe my brother, my friend Josh, and I decided we were going to pick our starters, and I got stuck picking the grass starter. Now, not that I don't like the starters in this game, but like Greninja is one of my favorites. He's one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, and I was stuck picking. Is it Chestnut? Is that his name?
Chespin,
Chespin. So I got stuck picking the
who
one I
happens to
didn't.
be my favorite of the gen.
And you know, nothing against it because it's a good Pokemon, but like I was already like, I don't want to pick this character, but my friends kind of made me. I guess I could have just said been fuck you and picked whatever I wanted, but
Yeah.
we were trying to play the game together. Like we were all playing it and trying to compete with each other. We would my brother and my friend and I would have regular quote unquote rival battles with each other to see what our teams were like. Of course,
Hmm.
I was working at this point. I don't think my brother was, so he was way further than I was. So anytime we'd have a battle, he'd beat me. Um, this is also the we haven't really talked much about it in the previous ones, but Gen 4 or Gen 2 introduced double battle, or no, 3 introduced double battling, and Gen 5 introduced the whatever you call it, triple battling and or the circle battle, whatever that's called.
Triple battle and rotation battles.
Rotation battles. And the reason I bring that up here is I believe I quote me if I'm wrong, but I believe X and Y introduced online double battles. I believe
Maybe.
it might have been Black and White, but I'm pretty sure it was X and Y that did it. Um, not only that, X and Y, I believe, again, if I'm wrong, quote me if I'm wrong, was Wonder Trade in this generation or was it 7th? I want to say it was this one.
I genuinely don't remember.
It's either or. I'm pretty sure it's 6th gen, if I recall, Wonder Trading being a thing. I know they brought it. I know it might actually be in both 6th and 7th, because I recall doing it in 7th gen as well. Anyways, either way, Wonder Trading might be in here. And if you don't know what that means, it's trading Pokemon randomly with people on the internet. You send something out, so you might get something back. You get something random back. So it was pretty neat. So yeah, a lot of things got introduced, but the main thing with this generation is the story. And I recall like bits and pieces of it, but I'm trying to remember the whole thing because it's been a hot minute since I played X and Y. Not out of not wanting to, I just haven't, it's just not one of the ones that I've replayed a ton compared to other games so in the series. So I'm trying to recall. This is the one with Team Flare, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that's right, because they're in
Yep.
technically in Legends ZA, which we'll get to Legends ZA later on because it's technically a sequel to X and Y.
Yep.
People were clamoring
We
for that
have
Pokemon.
confirmation that it is 5 years after X and Y.
Yeah, people were clamoring for that sequel to X and Y, or not, or that third version, that Pokemon Z version that we never got. Well, we got it like what 10, 15 years later, technically, and it's a sequel.
Yeah.
But anyways, you've got the main story revolves around Team Flare and oh my god, I can't think of his name now.
Lysander?
No,
AZ?
AZ. That's who it is. I'm thinking of. Yes, AZ. And it talks about, it goes into the history of Pokemon a little bit. You have AZ, who's this guy who's like 3,000 years old or something like that.
Yep. He was at the time the king of Kalos. And he happened to be king during a massive war. His partner Pokemon Floette was killed during the war. So he created 2 devices. One we only learn about in Legends ZA, but the first one we learn about is the ultimate weapon, which uses the power of, they explained, either Xerneas or Yveltal, depending on your game. It uses their power to collect life energy and then weaponize it. And the idea was that he would both end the war and resurrect his Floette using this device, which worked, but Floette left him after seeing what he had become, and the powerful energy also warped him to extend his lifespan, made him gigantically tall, stuff like that, so he was no longer the man he was before using the weapon.
Yeah, exactly. Also, hi Kitsu, hi Chinkat. Good to see you all in the chat. We're just in the middle of our discussion of Gen 6. And
Hi June, hi Kit.
I love that one of the nice things about playing Pokemon ZA or Legends ZA it gives you a refresher late in the game about the
Yeah.
story of X and Y, which is good
Mm-hmm.
because I was like when I was playing, I was like, oh yeah, that's what that is, because I started recalling what happened because um uh there it's not that Pokemon didn't have cutscenes before, but they were like all in engine. This is the first time Pokemon main series Pokemon
Yeah.
game has had actual cutscenes, and so it's a lot more cinematic compared to the previous game stories. Um, which is a good thing. And you like this is going to be one of those things where this is the like I say, the first time where the story actually really mattered in the long run to the game. It wasn't like in third gen where it was something that was packed near the end. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like surrounded around some character's Perleon. Like it was actual an actual story that had to do with the actual like with all the characters around them. And
Hmm.
uh Team Flare's motivation seemed a lot more uh uh intense and an actual threat than I would say Team Rocket or Team Magmar Aqua. Um like they had a big purpose. Like it was very important to the plot. It wasn't just these guys showed up
Yeah.
and caused mischief, which again, I love Team Rocket. Obviously wearing a rocket outfit on my model. But they gangsters. They ain't anything else. They're not trying to take over the world. So, um
Yeah, this is like comparing regular ass organized crime to a supervillain
yeah, they're literally
organization.
like Rocket's literally the Yakuza, so, in Pokemon. So, um but they just instead of using guns and weapons, they use Pokemon instead. Um, but yeah, so sixth gen was a huge leap. Uh, Still really fun games. And the 3D engine actually runs really nice. The gameplay is really good too. This is also one of the first times. Okay, so in Black and White, we kind of mentioned this briefly, but in Black and White, you have two rivals technically.
Yeah.
And in this game, you've got like a group of friends who are going on the journey. Um, and I mentioned briefly that if you picked a female in this game, uh, there because one of the characters, uh, who has vague romantic feelings for you doesn't discern whether you're a boy or a girl or whatever your gender is. They will fall for you no matter what. And so this is the first game where you have, you know, some representation, I guess, actual representation, even if the game doesn't intend it. Just again, like fifth gen never intended it technically. Um,
Right.
but just the story of having this group of friends that are going on this journey with you as well. So it's not just one rival. You've got like two or three. I think actually the
Hmm.
group's like maxed it at four. Um, it's really interesting because now you've got like all these characters to worry about who you could come across. Um, just like in Gen 5, Gen 6 has a large city, which will become even more important. Not only
Boy,
is
Lumios.
which is important to the story of these games, but will become even more important when you get to Legends ZA, since the entire game takes place in Lumios. Um, but yeah, it felt like to me when I played X and Y, it felt like a the standard upgrade from the previous generation. Obviously, switching over to 3DS hardware and being completely in 3D, as opposed to being 2D with 3D elements, which both Gen 4 and Gen 5 did. It was a big leap. And the games look great, they run great. The only thing that hampers them is the requirement to be stuck at 240p due to the 3D on the
Yeah.
3DS. So, for those of you who don't know, the 3DS has glasses free 3D. Um, it was a gimmick at the time. Movies are still released in 3D here and there, but it's become less and less prevalent. But Nintendo was very, very adamant that they make They want glasses free 3D on the next handheld, and they got it with the 3DS. And I've used the 3D effect on a lot of games, and it works really good, and sometimes surprising me, but other times it's just eh. And I'll admit, even to this day, I barely use it because unless it's like important to the gameplay, I don't care. I just leave it off, which I'm sure
The
most people are like
3D
that.
really did not work for a lot of entries, save for like one or two.
And it didn't really do anything for Pokemon. Like, if I recall, like it wasn't even that useful. Like, it was good if you looked at your Pokedex or something. I can't, or you played with your Pokemon, but that's like it. It didn't really make any sense to have it, but it was built into the hardware. So, because of the 3D, the 3DS is locked to 240p signals. So, which that would have been fine 10, 15 years ago because that's what most game consoles ran at. But it was locked to that because it had to be 240p for both eyes because both eyes had to be the same resolution when you were using 3D. And because of that, a lot of the graphics look chunky. Um, so, and to this day, if you say, for example, use a emulator like Citra, you can upscale these games to 720p, and they look
It looks
fantastic.
so good.
You can even go up to 4K. Now these games still use a more chibier style for the characters. Like even though it's the first 3D mainline Pokemon game, it's the first of the batch. So it still looks like it still looks like they're trying to capture um that original design from the previous games. Um but yeah, so there are some limitations thanks to the hardware, but I'm gonna be honest, like I was very, very happy when these games came out. I still like X and Y. Um I'm not gonna say it's my favorite, obviously. But because I've already said my favorites are silver and black and white and stuff like that. But it's good. They're fun games. They're good games still even today. So, and it again, huge step for Pokemon, especially in getting to near the end of the of that lull in Pokemon, in terms of like popularity and whatnot. Um, Obviously, I've given a bit of my stance. What's your stance, Eski, on sixth gen in general, and has it changed since playing
Um,
ZA?
I gotta toss out something that you might have forgotten about, which is
Okay.
also a huge game changer.
Yeah.
Uh, Player customization.
Yes. 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 Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot about that.
You put customization in any game, and it automatically shoots up the rankings for me. But and also, of course, surprising nobody in a region inspired by France, all the fits are great.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
100%.
but like I said at the beginning, it is simultaneously one of my favorite gens and one of the ones that is the most forgettable because it establishes a lot of precedents, including things like you said, where we have an evil team that is more present. ZA is like of skirts. Yeah, it's all skirts. Infuriating.
I'm okay with it. I can still look
You
like a
and Zero
femboy.
both like to play. Yeah, you and Zero both like to play femboys. I played a female character who had a shit ton of outfits, and there's only one item in the game that's an actual skirt.
I'm happy with the design
But
of my my ZA femboy though. He's cute.
yeah, my girl has a lot of good fits, and I like the way she ended up coming out. But what's probably going to end up happening is I might even, since we're all still on the subject of 6th gen, I might actually do a playthrough on the Twitch channel and then follow it up with a ZA playthrough as if I'm the character that I made for whatever 6th gen game I play. But anyway, so I do have a couple of issues with it, but I think much in the way of sixth gen being the pioneer of a lot of standards we see in Pokemon now. Saying I have issues with it is like saying I have issues with Gen 1 of Pokemon when it's literally the first game in the series. So I am like a big writing person and a big like character and world builder person. So there are things that I like and dislike about every new thing that they brought. So Lysander and Team Player in general being a constant presence throughout the game is very neat to me, and I feel like with stakes being as high as they are, that was a really necessary thing. But I kind of hate how Lysander was handled. If for no other reason than his motivations were actually really vague, because he keeps saying, this world is so ugly, I want a more beautiful world, yada, yada, yada. And he never uses any other kind of phrasing, which people have taken literally to mean, oh, he's so shallow and he's looking at everything surface level, when what he really means is that this world is full of things like conflict and starvation and disaster, and I want to get rid of all of that. And I feel like that goes over a lot of people's heads.
Yeah. Oh, no, totally.
The group of friends, they're wonderful, and I love them, and they're some of my favorite characters in Pokemon, but they also are incredibly one-note, which really gets highlighted on subsequent playthroughs, because at first it's like, oh man, look at all these cool friends I have. This game is going to be so fun. And then you play it a couple more times and you realize just how repetitive they all are. And like the same gags and lines get repeated over and over again, which I understand. This was the first time they really tried doing a big group outside of Black and White, where you really only had Sharon and Bianca. So they were trying to play it a little bit safe, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But my biggest issue, because Gen 6 gave us the 3D graphics, character customization, the introduction to big gimmicks like Mega Evolution, which would become a staple, but in contrast, no, I am not a person who thinks Pokemon needs to be like a CBT Smash Your Balls difficult.
Yeah.
But it does irk me a little bit when a game is like too easy, and X and Y are games that are very easy to breeze through. And I say that as somebody who has played the game turning the EXP all off.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And I've done things like avoiding using the free Lucario they give you and things like that. Just anything I can to see if I can up the challenge a little bit, just so I don't feel like stupid overpowered. And the games are just really easy.
Now, that being said, I just want to just real quick say to you, I never found Pokemon difficult till I played Black and White. I always found them a breeze. Like even Gen 1, like I found the games a breeze. There would maybe be some things like I talked about, Whitney's Mill Tank would be like a wall, the first like big wall you hit in second gen. Something like that. But like I never, like, even just playing Platinum right now casually, I'm intentionally avoiding doing the parts of the game, like grinding heavily in parts of the game where they want you to grind, and I'm still doing okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm having a hard time
Real quick, did you tap something by accident? Your mic has gone all funky. Oh. Yeah, you were just silent now.
Oh, okay. What about now?
Oh, there you are. Now you're back.
Sorry. I don't know what happened, guys. My mic came unplugged, I think. But just recapping what I was saying is that I haven't found Pokemon that difficult until maybe Black and White.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was saying, I've been playing. Like I said, I've been playing that casual playthrough of Platinum, and I've been pretty much avoiding whenever the game gives me the one of the hey, it's time to grind sections and grinding, and I'm still doing okay. Um, I don't I find it a little more difficult than say if I had spent the time grinding, but I'm not having that much of a challenge. Like first, second, third gen, there'd be points where you'd hit a wall, like I said, Whitney's Mill Tank, second gen, for example. But the games in general aren't that difficult. I never found them that difficult in terms of
Mm-hmm.
RPGs. It wasn't until Black and White that I actually found them difficult. And when I played X and Y, yeah, I remember it not being as difficult as fifth gen, specifically Black and White. But I didn't really have an issue with that because that was bog standard in my mind. That Pokemon is not a super difficult RPG series. Like they're just the point is to collect and play through, battle through as much as you can. Now, like I said, Pokemon's one of those things where you make your own difficulty. So like if you choose not to fight all the trainers that you come across, yeah,
Yep.
you're gonna have a harder time no matter what. But they're there to make sure you're high enough level to meet the demands of what comes later. Um, so the difficulty thing is a hard thing for me to like agree with you on because I'm like, I guess it's a little easier if that's if you thought the rest of the games had higher difficulty, but like again, I never considered Pokemon a difficult game.
It's there's a balance to it for me because a part of it is the emphasis or one of the emphases
I know what you're trying to
of
say.
Pokemon games is that the bonds between you and your Pokemon make you strong, and I feel like having an easier experience going through the games is a good way to showcase that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like with X and Y specifically, you could skip a lot of side battles and just do things like take on the gyms and fight your rivals and fight the evil teams and still have a breeze through it.
Now, don't get me wrong. I think like XPL is like a band-aid approach for trying to avoid grinding.
Yeah.
But so that's why I like that you can turn it off. Because sometimes if I just want to do a casual playthrough of X and Y, I'm just going to leave that on and go because I don't care. I'm just trying to play through the game, whatever, for fun. But if you're actually trying to challenge yourself, then that's something you can turn on. I like that it gives you the ability to like choose what you want to do. I think that's good for new players. Like if they're just like they just want to play through the story, they don't care about going and leveling their Pokemon up super high level. It's fine. But it does kind of feel I do understand where you're coming from, where it kind of feels like the game is not as, you know, as punishing because of how easy it is to like level up and whatnot. But
Yeah.
that being said, you could also see it as being just them finally trying to like fix problems that the previous games have had because like I said, there are sections in the previous games where like the game expects you to be a certain level and sometimes you're just
Yeah.
not going to be there. You pick Charmander in the original red, blue and yellow or red and blue, you are going to struggle till the fourth gym because every gym's going to have an advantage over you except for maybe the third one, but you know what I mean, unless you get Charizard, which in which case they will have an
Yep.
advantage over you. But I think this is their way of like trying to like balance it a little better. And I know that, of course, that it's not perfect, and it does mean the games come
Yeah,
off a
like
little
like
easier.
like I said, this was like their first foray into doing things like this.
But yeah, no, I agree. It's not perfect. That's for sure. Um, I don't really want to get into like heavy story spoilers for these games because even though they're like 15-year-old games by this point, um, it I don't want this to be a podcast where we just like summarize the story. I'm going to let people
Yeah.
like play the games for themselves, especially since a lot of people who hopped into Legends ZA didn't play X and Y. or it's been long enough that they haven't played it and they are
Mm-hmm.
probably going to replay it. Which I think Nintendo is crazy for not like making some re-release of those games to coincide with ZA's release. Like, make a X and Y collection and sell it for $45.
Honestly,
Like people will buy it because they'll be like, "Oh, I just finished ZA," you know, and now I want to go back and play those. Like they're, but again, I guess they don't have to because people like I don't know. My thought is they're still crazy not to because there's no way to buy ZA right now where Nintendo could make money off of
mm-hmm.
it. Not too hard to port those games to Switch or Switch 2. I'm just saying. Like, yeah, the 3D is not going to work, but you don't need that. So, who knows? Who knows? Like Pokemon Day's coming up. They could announce some
Yeah.
crazy collection that we don't know about, or re-releases of 3DS games of somewhere. Like,
Or chances are they're probably just going to give a sneak peek at Gen 10.
could be, yeah, could be. Anyway, excuse me. I don't have anything
I
further
do
to
have.
say. Sorry, go ahead.
I do have one final note to make about
Mm-hmm.
Gen 6. And while it kind of sucks that my final note is going to be a negative, I feel like it's kind of necessary
Yep.
because making this note will make ZA all the better.
Mm-hmm.
It has always bothered me that as the generation that introduced gimmicks and made such a big deal out of Mega Evolution, it always bugged me that Mega Evolution is nigh like absent from the game. There are the megas you have access to,
Mm-hmm.
Karina's Lucario, Lysander's Pyroar, and Diantha's Gardevoir, and I'm pretty sure that's it. For a game that emphasizes how great of a thing Mega Evolution is, you really don't see a lot of it, and I feel like that was a massive failing on Gen 6's part.
Do you mean like in battles against other people, or you mean like in general?
In general, when it comes to like the battles you do throughout the story, you see a Mega Evolution from other trainers only 3 times. And I would expect at least some of the later gym leaders to have megas.
Holy shit! There's only 28 Mega Evolutions in X and Y. What the fuck? That's so
Yeah.
low.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have access to very many. And the majority of the ones you're probably looking at are not available till post-game.
Let me get this straight. They introduced this gimmick
Yes.
that people have been clamoring for. All I ever fucking hear every
Yes.
game and generation, where's Mega Evolutions? Where's Mega Evolutions? And they didn't do anything with it.
Yes.
There's 600 goddamn
is-
Pokemon by this point. Make
That's
200 of the
honestly,
Megas.
That's probably honestly why people wanted Mega Evolution so bad is
It's
because
why?
ha 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 ha.
Anyways, continue
That's
your point.
probably one reason that people were clamoring for it so much is because X and Y had so little of it.
Mm-hmm.
And even Gen 7 and then Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire didn't add that many.
Yeah, one thing I gotta say is that it got pretty annoying that up until 9th gen, which it was a lot less in 9th gen because terrestrializing is pretty close to Mega Evolution, that people were just complaining that there was no Mega Evolutions. And I'm like, guys, it was a gimmick for one game. And then now I look at it and I'm like, oh, but it was a gimmick that was highly underutilized. Like,
Yeah.
they advertised the fuck out of Mega Evolutions, and I didn't realize how
Not
few
just
there were.
underutilized, but like you're saying, oversold and overemphasized.
Well, and the other thing about this has been corrected in later games, and I don't know if it's just
Yep.
Legends of the A or whatever, but you can Mega Evolve once per fight. That's it. Once you've done it, you can't. And if you withdraw that Pokemon, I believe they aren't still Mega Evolved in X and Y.
Yes. Correct.
So you really, really, really have to make sure that you're ready to do it, because oh fuck, could Whirlwind undo that? Like, I'm just thinking, I'm like, holy shit, there's moves that you could just that could
Roar,
yeah,
Whirlwind.
they really underutilized this ability. Um and so yeah, I kind of it makes me kind of understand why they went away from Megas for a little bit, despite the fact that people wanted them so bad. So, um but yeah, no, that's crazy to think of how underutilized it was and how much they advertised it. You know what this reminds me of?
Was that?
This reminds me of how heavily Gen 9 advertised the online features to made me think where
Hmm.
like you could play the full game together with your friends when really you can't.
Yeah. Yeah, we got debated real bad with that.
That's still to this day pisses me. That's the main reason why I was so upset and so like, so like done with Gen 9 because it at that point I was just like, this is a feature I really, really wanted, and you advertised it, and then it basically you did the bare minimum. So, anyways, we'll get to that when we get to it.
Yep.
But for Gen 6, I think we could close it and say pretty good, pretty fun. It's easy to go back to. Can't say it's bad. Um, and did a lot for Pokemon at that time. Um, but yeah, is there anything else you want to say before we move on?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Okay, so this next one we're going to be talking about is real quick is there because there are more remakes. Um, and this is the big one to me. Um, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, the Gen 3 remakes, are in my
Hmm.
opinion the perfect Pokemon remakes. Uh, any complaint I had about third gen, they fixed it. To the point where I would play the originals for nostalgia purposes, but if I want to have a better time, I'll play the remakes because
Yeah.
they pretty much replace the originals for me. Um, so and like just simple things like backtracking is much easier. The Gen 6 engine works really, really well. In is it Hoenn? Is that third gen's area?
Owen, yes.
Hoenn, yeah. So it works really well for that. Um,
Owen.
yeah, they added new
Yeah.
content to the post game because the post game in Gen 3 is kind of limited. It's kind of dry. And they added some content which I thought was really cool. Um, and then yeah, no, I just it's hard for me to say much about Mega Ruby Alpha Sapphire because all I would be saying is all the stuff that I complained about in Gen 3, I don't have those complaints anymore because they fixed it. And I would say the story got improved too. Like it's still the story from third gen, but they did little things to make it a little
But
better.
Archie and Maxie actually know how to color code.
Yeah, yes, and like and like it's sprinkled in a little better too. I
Yeah.
I'm at a loss for words for saying anything other than play these remakes if you liked or only kind of liked third gen because they're just so good. They're just so good. Unfortunately though, I do have a bit of something I learned recently that is a Nintendo manufacturing problem. Um Certain versions releases of these games have bad ROM chips in them. So if you happen to have a certain revision of Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire from whatever release it was, uh, and you don't fire it up once every so often, the game could just die because Nintendo made a mistake when they ordered ROM chips for these games, and so certain copies of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are just dead. They just won't work anymore. I don't mean that in the way of saying, "Oh, your 40-year-old NES games aren't going to work." No, this is worse. These things died within a year. Some of them died within a year of being released. So if you happen to have a copy of these games, check them if you haven't played them in a while, because you don't
Yep.
know.
I know mine works.
And I don't mean the save data. I mean the game data itself is gone. Could be because of bad chips. And unfortunately,
Mine works, and I'm very happy.
it is so far outside of um, the time frame of the release that Nintendo did nothing about it. So you can't even get like a replacement cartridge, even when it started happening. Um, so that's one thing to check if you go to buy used Pokemon games, specifically these ones. Make sure they boot up before you buy them, because they might be dead on the inside. Thankfully, we live in an era where things were backed up, quote unquote backed up. So you still can play these games other ways in 4K, by the way, um,
In 4K.
if you have the means to do so. Yeah, I don't got much to say about the remakes. I other than say they're good. They're really good.
Yeah, that's
Like I struggle to find a negative other than the ROM chips might be bad in some versions. That's it. Exactly, Kitsu. Yeah, exactly. The theme song of Two Kaiser. Yo ho hoi, yo ho hoi, yo ho hoi hoi. Sorry, I could do that all day.
Shabadoobie.
Nope. Um, do you have anything to say about Mega Ruby Apple Sapphire other than they're good?
They're really good.
They're really good. Really, really good. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Better than the originals, and I don't say that often. Um, so here's the turning point for Pokemon. And this is something I've been waiting to talk about. Cotton 4K. June, be quiet. Um, so I believe it was 2016, I want to say. I could be wrong. Uh, Pokemon got a revival in the form of Pokemon Go. Um, I debated whether we should talk about this, but really, if you think about it, this is the turning point for Pokemon in terms of them coming back and
Oh yeah.
not only becoming a more successful franchise, being the most successful uh, brand in the one of the most successful brands in the world, like to the point where like it's more Pokemon is more popular than Sanrio. It's more popular than even other Nintendo properties. Like Pokemon is the like became one of um the most popular things to where like when this game came out, when Pokemon Go came out, everyone, and I mean everyone, was playing it. If you had a smartphone, you had Pokemon Go installed. I guarantee it. Unless you were my parents who didn't have smartphones. Uh, but everyone was playing these games. Um, and if you weren't around during the craze, or maybe if for some reason you didn't have a
People were
smartphone,
literally trespassing
yeah,
because of Pokemon
they
Go.
they did in person events because of Pokemon Go, and it became to the point where like Pokemon Go became the number one fitness app for like a few
Yeah.
years because it got people to get up and go walk around and get Pokemon. So if you don't know what Pokemon Go is a game for mobile devices where you find and catch Pokemon in real life in a real life map. So and you also want to get these things called Pokestops, which are usually landmarks in your area or wherever you're visiting, to get free Pokeballs, items, stuff like that. It is a mobile game. It does have in-game purchases. Yes, before you ask, it is the second game I ever purchased an in-game purchase for. Uh, I sadly to admit. Um, but and people still play it to this day. I just thinking off the top of my head, Reiko, our fearless slash fearful leader of LTN. She's one of the people I know that still plays the game on a regular basis. I haven't played it since 2 phones ago, um, but they're still updating it constantly. I think they're up to Gen 9 now in Pokemon Go, if I recall. I can't remember. I haven't played it in so long. I'm gonna have to actually double check with Reiko later, see where it's at. But like, even though I don't play it anymore, like I remember when it came out, everybody was playing this game. Everybody. Like my one of the managers at the place I worked. She was like a lady in like her late 50s, early 60s. She was playing Pokemon Go.
Mhm.
Like literally everyone, except again for my mom and dad because they didn't have a smartphone. But if they did back then, I guarantee you they would have been coaxed into playing Pokemon Go because it basically was like the equivalent of a Facebook game to them. Like it was as popular as it was more popular in Farmville. Let that sink in for a second. And um, we couldn't say Pokemon Go to the polls. Yeah, I know. Um, my experience with Pokemon Go was it got me out and active, and got me to converse with people in the real world a lot more. Keep in mind, in this era, 2015 to like 2017 was probably when I was my most social locally. I still have friends and stuff, and I still do hang out with friends, but like that era was um important. It also was when I started learning about important things in my life, specifically LGBTQ stuff, and many other things. Going to a lot of concerts and stuff like that, and just having friends to hang out with in person instead of doing it all online. And so, um, this is a very important era, and Pokemon Go just kind of reinforced that because it encouraged me to go out and exercise more, go for a walk, go explore. Because literally anywhere you go, unless you live in the country, which that sucks if you do, but literally anywhere you go could be a Pokestop. You could find rare Pokemon there. You don't know. Um, it's insane how popular Pokemon Go was, and for such a simple game, like I just thinking about like memories. I remember like my brother and I having to find this gym that was in a nearby park, and every day we would literally go there and make sure that if somebody took it, we put a Pokemon in there so we could keep that gym. Because you got gyms, you got you got extra stuff, which is you wanted gyms. Um, like it was, and again, it was just so crazy to me because like people who were playing this game were just people who never made. So there were people who never even thought about Pokemon, or maybe they in passing they're like, oh, that kid's thing. But everybody was playing this fucking game. Eski, you haven't said much about it. Do you have anything to say about Pokemon Go? I'm really curious to hear your perspective.
Nope.
Oh, you know what? I think I know why.
I live in an area where there is literally nothing within walking distance. So
Yeah,
I played Pokemon Go for a few weeks. This was around the time I was still working at Walmart.
yeah.
So every now and again, I would get something neat while after I left work. But other than that, really did not have many opportunities to go out and enjoy Pokemon Go to its fullest.
I'm surprised a little demon like you work at Walmart.
I'm surprised I let myself work there.
Don't know why you would. I guess you needed the human money
Yeah,
because
there's only so much gold I can trade at pawn shops before people start getting suspicious.
that's fair enough. But yeah, that was the one disadvantage to Pokemon Go. If you don't live in a city or a town or something, if you live in like a small county or in the country or out in the boons, you're basically fucked because there's nothing for you to do in that game.
Yeah,
Like you can catch Pokemon, but like you'll quickly run out of resources for that. Um, so yeah, that's the one downside of Pokemon Go. If you are not in an area with a lot of like landmarks and people and stuff, you're screwed, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on Pokemon Go, but I can't. We can't skip over it because it is probably the most important thing that ever happened to Pokemon,
yeah.
and it was one of the last projects that Satoru Iwata was a part of. Um, like he was literally working on negotiations for it in his hospital room. Uh, and so it's insane to think like that how important it is. This game pushed Pokemon like Pokemania was as popular as anybody ever thought Pokemon was going to get. In those first two generations of Pokemon, that's what people thought it's popular Pokemon's ever going to get. And it lasted long enough to hit this peak in 2016 to become one of the most popular mobile games of all time, one of the most popular games of all time in Pokemon Go, and pushed it over to being now this is a mega franchise. This is not just a thing that fizzled out after the late 90s, early 2000s. This is a mega franchise, and there's tons of money in it. And unfortunately, this is where uh, the emphasis on merchandise over games started to happen.
Yeah.
That being said, the seventh generation of Pokemon is a I would say was an interesting surprise because they could have played it really safe with all the people they brought in with Pokemon Go, and they really didn't with seventh gen. Like they made some changes that were they took some risks. Like, and you know what? I can applaud them for that, but I will start this off by saying I don't think seventh gen is that great. Um, it's
I
got
am
some
inclined to agree.
it's got some cool ideas. I like the idea that it takes place in a tropical setting, which is something that I thought we've been needing for a while. Um, Z moves are interesting, but they're not mega evolutions, and the game only offers like one or two pseudo mega evolutions if you get Ash's Greninja, for example, which I appreciate because I really like Greninja. Um,
Yeah.
but this is, I would say, the first game in a while since, in my opinion, fourth gen, but in a lot of people's opinion, maybe something else that kind of like just missed the mark for me. Like to the point that I have not finished a replay of seventh gen, even including buying the ultra version that came out later with the extra content. I still haven't completed my ultra version of that because I bought Sun and then I got Ultra Moon the year later, which I thought was really stupid that they released
Oh
it a
yeah.
year later. But it was the era of Game of the Year editions. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
maybe not. Maybe thought they thought they could get away with that. Um. Oh, I know it was well in development before. But but I mean, with they probably could have seen the success June of Go and changed seventh gen to be more like Pokemon Go. But then we got Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, but we'll talk about that when we get to the Switch. Um, but yeah, seventh gen, I really like the characters. I really like some things. It's our first game in the series with a non-binary character who, again, didn't know what their actual like, not non-binary, but maybe what's the term I'm looking for? Androgynous, I guess. To where I didn't know what their gender was until I had to look it up. You could say they're maybe non-binary. But I like the tropical setting. Uh, but like, there's just some things that just made this one not as enjoyable. I don't like the main rival that much.
I am not a fan of Hal either.
I think How is kind of annoying. I thought it was cool that he had the same name as the villain from Shaman King, but um, don't really like How. the the one girl, she's not really a rival, I don't think. Is it what's her name
Lily?
again?
No.
Lily. Yeah, she's not really a rival. She's just another character. Her story's very
You know, she's
interesting.
just tragic.
She's very interesting, and so is the story with her family and stuff. But and then there's shirt open boy, or not shirt open boy, hoodie open
Professor?
boy. No, hoodie boy who has the emo hair.
Oh,
Um,
Gladion.
and he has the weird Pokemon, the weirdest Pokemon I've ever
Yeah.
seen. What's it called? Type Null.
Type null.
What a name for a Pokemon! I guess I shouldn't be too surprised because if you look at the Japanese names of some of the early Pokemon, there literally are, again, Sandshrew is known as Sand in Japanese, just Sand. Don't ask me why. But yeah, this I get the whole I like the idea of the plot of Gen 7, but man, like I know they were trying to change things up from the standard like gym stuff, but holy fuck, the gyms suck in 7th gen. They're terrible.
What gyms?
Yeah, they're awful. Like I get it. They were trying to do something different, but man,
I think it says something when who I would consider myself to be a Pokemon super fan, never finished Moon, and I didn't even bother with the Ultra games.
wow, I actually finished Sun. I actually beat it.
Yeah. I don't remember what happened. I think something else came out that had my attention, but
probably.
yeah, I
That
just
was 2016 was a big year for games.
never finished it.
I'm not 2016, 2017, that those were big years for games, so I'm not surprised if something else took your attention. I bought Ultra Moon the next year, but I didn't finish it because I was like, this is just the same shit over again, and I didn't like it that much the first time. I will at some point be doing a Let's Play of 7th Gen. Probably Ultra Moon because it has more content. When? Don't know, because I still have to finish Black and White 2. And I've been playing a lot of Pokemon lately, so I'll probably be taking a break soon. So I'm not going to say that I'm going to Let's Play 7th Gen like tomorrow. Plus, I have to finish a playthrough of 6th Gen at some point. I started one a while ago, and I never finished it. I'm going to probably start that over. I don't have any snoozes, by the way. Do you have any snoozes?
Nope.
Okay, well, people are going to get an ad. I don't have... I think the like I said, I keep going back to the island motif. That's really, really cool. I really like that, and I really like they have their own like kind of like indigenous inspired like villages and
yeah,
like what do you call it, traditions and stuff like that. And some of the Pokemon are really, really cool. Also, big thing about this
regional variants.
Yeah, regional variants. I was about to say 7th Gen was the first game to give us regional variants, which is an important thing. We got isn't there like 3 different forms of Meowth now? We've got
Yes.
Yeah, so we've got the
there's Cantonian, Alolan, and Galarian.
Alolan and Galarian, yeah. So there's first time we got Alolan Pokemon of like older ones, which I thought was neat. I think that was a cool idea. It was I don't want to say it was better utilized than Megas, but I think it kind of was because they're easy to obtain comparatively. And some of them were really cool, like the fucking Ice Vulpix. Excuse me? That's cool. That's cool as hell. I think, isn't the Meowth fat, or is that the Galarian one I'm thinking of? I can't remember.
None of them are fat. I know Alolan Persian's got a fat head.
Yeah.
I like to joke that it should be a grass type because it's harnessing the power of the watermelon it swallowed.
When it shoots out seeds like Yoshi eating a watermelon.
Can you imagine?
What was that, June? Husuian? What's that? Oh, is that Legends Arceus? Eski?
What?
June was saying, don't forget Husuian. Is that Legends Arceus, or am I thinking of something else?
That's Legends Arceus.
Okay, we're not there yet. But no, regional differences. I think that's neat. Z moves. Kind of underutilized like Megas, but at least a lot more practical. I think it's neat to give Pokemon ultimate moves. That's a really cool idea because Megas kind of had them, but this gives you a lot more range.
The signature moves are already a thing, so Z moves are just like the next logical step in that.
Yeah, and again, a lot more common, I think, that of finding them. And I think it's cool that Pokemon having ultimate moves is a cool idea. Again, though, didn't really add much to me for a game that I already wasn't that interested in. Um, so yeah, other than regional variants and Z moves, can't say enough about seventh gen. It's not that great, and
Correct.
it was interesting because it felt like, even though these games were developed earlier, it felt like there was less emphasis on them because Pokemon Go was so popular. Um, but again, Pokemon Go was very important. Um, Also, Pokemon Sun was the last time I went to a midnight release at an EB Games for a game. Um, EB Games, at least in my area, in my region, don't do midnight releases anymore. That was the last time they did a midnight release. It wasn't the last midnight release I ever went to. We'll get to that. But it was the last time EB Games, which is our GameStop essentially, ever did
Mm.
I ever went to one of their midnight releases. I never went to another one, and they stopped doing them shortly after, which sucks because that was something that was kind of neat about, you know, about the era of gaming we grew up in. Like, I still remember how massive the PS2 and Xbox releases were. People were lined up like around the block for those. And Pokemon was no slouch. A lot of people were interested in getting it. One embarrassing thing about seventh gen is I kept calling the Z ring an O ring, which is terrible. I didn't realize the mistake I was making. Yeah, we'll just leave that there. Um, Anything else you want to say about seventh gen, or should we just leave it at that?
Nah, I think we've said all that there is to say.
Well, a much more interesting topic to me, at least. I don't know if it is to you. Um, but kids, we're going to the UK because it's time to talk about eighth gen. And
Yay!
one of my favorite games in the franchise, Sword and Shield. Um,
Same.
uh,
Which people are going to give us very funny looks for.
well, let's start off before we start talking about it. Why, like, even before these games came out, that there was a huge controversy. This thing happened in the UK and the European Union called the Brexit, like maybe a year before, where the UK left the European Union. Very stupid of them to do, and they're still feeling the effects of it today. Um, But there was an important point after Pokemon, shortly after the reveal trailers of Sword and Shield were shown, that the developers admitted that this was going to be the first time where they weren't going to be able to include every single Pokemon. And the reasoning initially was for region variants because they didn't want Pokemon that weren't going to be available in the region available for you to get, which made no sense because every game since once you beat the main story, you can get the national Pokedex and then start collecting Pokemon that weren't, you know, that weren't available in the main gameplay. Um, and then people found out a few things that, which I don't know if this turned out to be false or not, but people started data mining things about the game before it came out. Apparently, a lot of the 3D models were upscaled models from X and Y, um, and from Sun and Moon. Um, I don't. I think that was disproven. Like somebody looked them up and said that they weren't actually upscaled models. Uh, but in a negative way, to where the newer models have less animations than the older ones. So it seemed whatever was going on at Pokemon Company and Game Freak, they were trying their best to like not talk about this because they knew they were cutting corners, and it showed. Um, a lot of people focused on the fucking tree. let me start by saying if you're one of those people who does this, like, watches an anime and then freeze frames and like, see, look how bad the animation is because you saw an in between frame. First off, who gives a fuck about graphics? If that's important to you, you are not
I'm
taking these
sending you
games
a
seriously.
PNG of a job application.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like I just do, like, people focus so much on this one fucking tree that was in one of the trailers or something. And some people I guess found it in the actual game that had low poly textures on it. I'm like, look, we knew going out the gate the Switch was not going to be super powerful hardware. That being said, um I never look at Pokemon as a graphical powerhouse type of game.
Right.
Like, this is not Crisis. This is not, what's another pretty game that has really good graphics? I can't think of anything off the top of my head because I just really don't care about graphics. If the gameplay is good, I don't care.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, there you go.
That
Ghost
was
of
a
Tsushima.
really pretty game.
Really pretty game. Yeah. Anyways, the long and short of it is the people who complained about the graphics really were reaching for straws at that point. But I think, as much as I don't super agree with it, I think a lot of people are saying that the Dexit, which they were calling it, ironically, because it was a UK setting in the game, and a lot of Pokemon were being cut from the Pokedex, did infuriate a lot of people. It didn't infuriate me, because even though my favorite Pokemon wasn't going to be included, I didn't care. I just wanted to enjoy these games.
I play Pokemon to meet the new Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, and yeah, Kitsuhan, you're right. Like Game Freak's new game, the one that's coming out for Xbox, looks so fucking good. By the way, I watched the Xbox Direct recently, and it oh my god, it's so good. It looks so good. I've never seen Game Freak make a game this pretty. It's really good. Anyways, that's a story for another day. 8th gen had not only just a really good story and really good characters, but my favorite Pokemon character of all time. I'll never let it go. I'll never let it go because I love Marnie. She's my favorite. She's my British punk princess, and I just want to hit that. And this was the first time the team was not a villain. Team Yell was her support team. They're punks.
Team Skull were delinquents, but they weren't villains.
Oh, Team Skull? I thought Team Yell was this game.
No, I'm talking about Gen 7.
Oh, yeah. Team Skull, yeah, fair enough.
They were delinquents, but they weren't villains.
But to me, Team Yell was just British punks. Because, and she was the head of the
sports
British
fans.
Punks. Yeah, they're sports fans. They're Team England FIFA fans. That's basically what that's what they were modeled after. They were modeled after, like, soccer fans. Like, and so and then again, just like, because she's technically one of the rivals, and I love her to bits. I did skip over Hop and his brother, the champion. Which the champion's a big part of the story, which, yes, the champion has been in previous games, but like, you meet the champion early on, and he's important to the plot. So like, it's crazy. We haven't
seen an active champion like that since Cynthia.
Yeah,
and Cynthia. Even then, I would say Leon is more active than Cynthia.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because Leon did appear a few times in 2nd gen. Or not Leon, sorry, Lance. So I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lance appeared a few times, and he was the active champion.
Yeah, he killed a man.
Mm-hmm.
He hyper-beamed that man.
His name is Lance, after all. It's controversial to say Hop did Bianca's story better. Maybe.
I would say they did the same story with 2 different endings.
Yeah. A lot of people said Hop was just as annoying as Hal, but I never found him as annoying as Hal.
Some people don't like. Some people feel like his arc was poorly written. and I don't know what they were expecting.
I just always see him he's just the energetic rival. Because then you've got Marnie, who's, I don't know, I guess she's the apathetic rival.
Yeah,
And then you've got Bidet, who's the pompous asshole rival.
Bidet.
And his and all of them
He
are
gets
written
better.
well. What?
He gets better.
He does get better. They all are well written. In fact, his story is probably one of the best ones of the three rivals. And I'm saying that being a huge Marnie simp, his is one of the best like arcs, because he starts off as just this pompous rich boy attitude, and then becomes like, an actual contender. And by the way, when these games came out, I streamed them and I did the worst accents for everybody.
Same.
I made Hop and his brother Irish and Scottish. I gave Bidet the posh British rich boy accent. I was doing it for all of them, and like, man, this is pre VTuber, so I was still streaming under just like within a camera or anything. And so whenever I was, and this was back when I had people in my voice chat when I was streaming, so people would just be like, "Stop it with the accents." I'm like, "No, I'm reading this. You're here for this." And then there were little things we did, like, what's the Pokemon that was always hanging around outside of its Pokeball with Marnie? Moneko, I want to call it. Morpeko. We had this whole thing that my buddy Doom did this voice where, like, every time I after I would say certain lines, you just see Morpeko in the corner just staring off in the distance, being like, "I can see into your soul. Do you want to know the exact day you're gonna die? Because I can tell you." Like things like that. Like anytime there was like a shot where Morpeko looked really creepy, Doom would just come and be like, I've seen the demons in your closet. Things like that.
I know what you did.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it'd be like.
Guilty.
Well, I'll fucking do it again. So
Like,
our storyline for the stream was like where Pekko could kill you at any point, and he'd be like, "No one would know that I did it," stuff like that. So he's
I can smell you.
Yeah, literally, he's literally the secret serial killer. But we can't talk about 8th gen without talking about two major improvements. Number one, the wild area.
Yes.
To my knowledge, the first, because I think this came out, Let's Go, I think came out a year before. But to my knowledge, the first time a main series Pokemon game lets you see what you were about to encounter. You still couldn't catch them like you could later in Legends Arceus on the overworld, but you could see what you were fighting. It was no longer wild. Some areas had wild grass, but most areas you could see what was in there, which made things like shiny hunting a lot easier, unless you despawned by accident, which happened to people from time to time. I accidentally despawned a shiny in Let's Go Pikachu by accident.
Oh, that's painful.
Somebody in my chat was like, shiny, shiny, and then it was too late. It was already gone. Weird Space Jam RPG Maker game. Oh, you mean Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden? Yeah, I played that. Sure. Well, no, I was a VTuber when I played that game. No, but getting back to this, like, seeing Pokemon in the overworld, first time that was in a main series game. Again, I think it was also in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and I think they came out before, but like this was like the first time it was like huge deal, especially with the wild area. Just one giant area that connects the entire map together. And you can find whatever you're looking for in there. If you want to go to the, to far like northwest and find some ghost Pokemon and shit, they're going to be too high for your level, but you can go in there and you can catch some if you want to, or try. Probably die early on because they're like level 40, but you could. This is also And also the other big improvement is again, this game's gimmick wasn't megas, but it was Gigantamax and I forget what the other one's called.
Dynamax.
Dynamax. So and the thing is, nearly every Pokemon could do it. Some would have special forms. Which I can't remember which ones. Is it Gigantamax is the special or is it Dynamax the special?
Gigantamax is the special one.
Gigantamax would give you special forms, but every Pokemon could Gigantamax. And I can't remember because it's been a while, but is it again something that's restricted to one per battle, if I recall?
Yes.
The other big restriction, which kind of sucks, but
if I remember correctly, it's once per battle, 3 turns.
Yeah, that was about to say that. So, which I kind of was like, at first I was like, oh, that sucks. You only get them for 3 turns. But then I'm like, I realize how much of a boost Dynamaxing or Gigantamaxing is. And I'm like, yeah, this makes sense why it's only for 3 turns. And so I liked that you could just have giant Pokemon. I thought that was cool, especially because they brought back Fat Pikachu for Pikachu.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't know if you guys know, but Pikachu's original design, he was fat. And I like that. And a lot of people like that. But then when they brought back, when they did Gigantamaxing, Gigantamax Pikachu he's fat. And he's just a big old boy. I love him. I still remember that. Oh, and how could Pikachu exactly? And how could I forget one of the most important online things they added? Raids.
Yes.
Gigantamax raids. Sorry, go ahead.
Shadow Legends.
Shadow Legends?
Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh, shut up. So raiding in Pokemon, how it worked was you would find a Dynamax or Gigantamax Pokemon. You and friends would have to weaken their shields and their health bar, and then you get a chance to catch them at the end. Everybody gets a chance to catch them.
Yep.
One of the first shinies I got in a long time through that, a shiny Starmie, which I used my Master Ball on because it was a shiny Starmie. You never see that, and I was like, I want to make sure I catch it. It's it's unlikely that you'll not catch a Pokemon if you've defeated them in a raid, but they can escape. And I was like, I don't want this thing to escape. Let's just say that. So I used my Master Ball on that, and then a friend gave me another Master Ball because they obtained a way to get them. I don't know. But yeah, no. The first time raids were introduced in Pokemon, and I literally would do streams where me and my friends would just look for stuff to catch. The one that I remember the most is Dynamax Shuckle with 7 goddamn shields.
That hurts my soul.
Like, literally, it happened. Me and all my friends were in voice chat. We were like, 7 shields? We were all like, what the fuck? We're not going to be able to catch this thing. And we just barely beat it. Just barely. I think it was the last turn before it would have escaped. We just barely got through that. But, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing Pokemon raids in that game. I've been talking a lot, and I haven't let you really talk that much. Eski, what are some things that you really like from 8th Gen?
So, I'm a sucker for things... excuse me.
You're excused.
I'm a sucker for British Isle themed things, especially when we get into Scottish and Irish inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
So this generation already had me by the eyeballs.
As a mudblood myself, I appreciate that. I call myself a mudblood because I have Irish, Scottish, and French descent. So, and some German.
Well, we came over and conquered you as a Norwegian individual, a mainly German and Norwegian blooded man.
Yeah, that's why I call myself a mudblood, because I'm just a mix of a bunch of European. Anyways, continue.
Yep, but once again, character customization was on point.
Mm-hmm.
The Wild Zone was really fun. I liked This generation also gave us one of my favorite regional birds ever. I love Corviknight with all my heart and soul. I also really liked our starter lineup this generation. It was just really fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't mention the starters in 7th gen or 6th gen, but I really like them in both those gens, and I really like them in this one. Like, I unlocked a Score Bunny card recently, and I was like, oh, my boy! I was very excited.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I need to show you a card I got a bit ago.
I need to show you something.
But,
so, if I could find it here, I'm gonna have to go through my images. So my I actually commissioned art of my Pokemon trainer from this game. I'm trying to find the art for it, but it might be on another hard drive or something.
oh yeah, this was the generation that spawned like my favorite Pokemon OC I've ever created as well. So
I'm trying to find it here. But yeah, no. Oh, and I almost forgot. Camping.
Camping was really fun, yes.
Camping with your Pokemon.
And the curry cooking.
Yes.
Oh, something I forgot to mention when we were talking about Gen 6.
What's that?
Another thing they introduced that I adored was Pokemon Ami. And
yes.
That set the precedent for more interactivity with all of your Pokemon, and that's a feature that I love to this day.
Yeah, and the camping is kind of like an extension of that, because you get to let your Pokemon out and roam around, and sometimes they'll look at you and shit.
You can play with them and play with toys and give them snacks.
Yeah. This is really cool. I really like that. And just like, this was also, I forgot to mention that this was also the first Pokemon game where it technically wasn't 7th gen where you looked like actual people, but in this game, like, it was the first time on a console, like a mainline console.
Yeah.
Not including,
so they had a lot more to work with.
Not including side stuff like XD, Gale of Darkness, and stuff like that. Like, that's different. And Coliseum, which are their own stories. And we'll probably briefly talk about side games, but we're really focused on the main stuff here. But no, yeah, just like, it's just so crazy to me that like, it was fine. Pokemon's finally on a console. And like a mainline Pokemon game finally on a console, and it was just it was just awesome. I really liked it. And it was just so much I love about the 8th gen of Pokemon, and despite all the BS with people and like stuff like that, like despite all that stuff, it was just so cool to have.
It was enjoyable.
Like, yeah, the story was good. I really enjoyed the game. I that was one of the first Pokemon games that like I was playing it for the stream and also playing it like myself. And this is back before my brother had a Switch, so he bought Shield, I bought Sword. We both had to like share my console to play it, which I can't believe I did that.
I will say this game did set the precedent for Pokemon having DLC, which I wasn't a fan of, but
yes,
the DLC we got was really fun and enjoyable.
Yeah, I like the new characters they brought in with it. I'm going to be honest, I really didn't play the DLC all that much. I kind of like, I think I was done with the game after I beat the game. So like, I didn't end up playing much of the DLC.
Oh no, I stuck a straw in that DLC and sucked.
Yeah, I can tell. But no, yeah, like, God, I don't know what else more I could say. I just really like Gen 8. I was like really happy with it. And I was very excited for what was to come with Pokemon. Is there anything else you want to say about 8th gen before we move on to something else?
I think there's only so much gushing about it I can do.
Yeah,
my
same.
my one issue is the conclusion of the story and
Yeah.
Rose as a villain because he's just stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. I like, okay, one thing I do like is the stadium aspect of everything. Like, it's like,
I do love how the Pokemon League is treated like a sporting event,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I kind of hope we see more regions do that because that's just such a it feels like it would fit in the world.
oh, 100%.
Like if Pokemon battling is such a regular thing and such a common thing throughout the world, why wouldn't it also be a spectator sport?
Exactly. Like, I think that's cool. And again, that was very much inspired by, like, soccer, the soccer culture
Yeah.
in, like, the UK and Europe and stuff like that. So, not surprising in the slightest, but really cool, no matter what. Um, Before we move on to the next generation, I want to just briefly mention Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, because again, they like it might not seem like much, but they were important. Uh, it was they first off, if, to me, it was something I wanted really, really bad. Tab, please read the screen. Not doing redeems right now. Um, uh, I I really, really, I mentioned this early on that like I really, really, really wanted to, after playing Stadium, I really wanted a full 3D Pokemon game. And yes, we did eventually get it with Coliseum and XD Gale of Darkness, but I didn't play those
Yeah.
games initially. I so getting to play Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee was fun for me because it again, these are Gen 1 remakes aimed at the Pokemon Go audience, but they're still full Pokemon games. I still completed the Pokedex of this game, which was the first time I had done that since the original Gen 1 games. So I had a good time, and I know a lot of people are going to say they don't like the capturing mechanics, which I totally understand. I wish it was just battling like it's been in all the other main series Pokemon games. But I see why they did it too. And also so they could sell more of that accessory, the Pokeball Pro or whatever it was called. I liked that we got full 3D remakes of the Gen 1 games, something I just really been wanting. And I also liked something that they haven't put back into Pokemon, when I wish they would, drop in multiplayer.
Yeah.
If you so one thing is to know about these games, you have to use the Pokeball Plus or you have to use a Joy-Con to play Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. You can't play them with a Pro controller. They're Joy-Con latent games. And the reason for that is because if somebody else has another Pokemon Plus or a Joy-Con, somebody can drop in and do co-op with you. And how it works is they don't need to start a file. They don't have to go catch their own Pokemon. They pick one of the Pokemon in your party, and that's their, role. That's the character that they play as. And so, and it does make the game a lot easier, like an already easy game a lot easier because every battle becomes a double battle with you having the advantage because nobody else can double battle except you guys. So, there were times where I would just steamroll things like Silphco. I just steamrolled. Me and my brother steamrolled that because I was playing my game and he dropped in and took one of my Pokemon and we just double battled the whole way up. Not that not that Silphco is a hard part of the game or anything, but it's much easier. Like Giovanni goes down much faster when you're using a grass and water type at the same time. Let's just say that. And I believe Let's Go was the first one where you could see, not including Pokemon Go, the first one console game. Not only is it the first console Pokemon game of the main series technically, but the first one you could see the Pokemon on screen. But I don't consider it as big of a thing as it was in 8th gen because again, the catching mechanic is the one downside I would say. to
Yeah.
those games. If you don't know, the catching mechanic is either it's like Pokemon Go where you have to throw the balls and get it at the right thing. Um, or if you're playing on the touch screen, you can do it like you would in Pokemon Go with swiping your finger. It never
Or if you
worked.
were like you had the Pokeball add-on and you tossed that instead.
Yeah,
Eh.
it never worked very as well as it does on the in Pokemon Go. Uh, um, the one exception is the legendaries because you have to fight the legendaries before you can catch them. Uh, Mewtwo specifically, I remember being a tough fight. And to me, in Gen 1, that's when I consider the game finished when you've got all the legendaries, and Mewtwo I always get last. Um, but yeah, no, I liked Let's Go so much that I completed the Pokedex, including the new Pokemon Metang, I think it was. No, not Metang. Fuck, what is it
Meltan,
called? Meltan. Yeah, and its evolution. Got all 100
Melmetal.
I got all 153 Pokemon. So, uh that's the first time I completed a Pokedex since an old playthrough of Gen 1 back when I was a kid. So, okay, hun, take a break. But yeah, did you have any experience with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee at all? Anything you want to add before we move on?
Uh, I don't really have much to add on to Let's Go. So all I can really say is they were enjoyable when I had them, and that was certainly Markanto.
Mm-hmm.
Those Pokemon games were certainly Pokemon games.
And let me preface: these are not on the same level as the other remakes. Like these games, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee were basically made to target either people who are super nostalgic for Gen 1 like me, or people who play Pokemon Go and they wanted to upgrade to getting a Switch.
Yeah.
That's basically who it was for. And so that's why I don't hear a lot of positive things about those games because most Pokemon fans I know just skip them. Or if they got it so they could get an Eevee really fast and transfer it up. Anyways, that's Pokemon Go or Pokemon Let's Go and Gen 8 in a nutshell. But there are two games we need to talk about that came out with only a couple of months between each other. Um,
I recently found out quite a bit about one of those games.
and one of these games changed my opinion on Generation 4 of Pokemon. And that is that's Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. While not as good of remakes as the third gen remakes were, holy hell, are they a huge improvement over the original games. Um uh I know a lot of people don't like the art style. I thought it was cute. The like chibi gameplay. Like it looked like I thought it was cute and neat and I didn't have a problem with it. I know a lot of people don't like some of the changes they made to gameplay stuff that was in the original games. I find them as improvements myself because um, as I've stated many times, Gen 4 is fucking slow. So I'll take anything that speeds that game up, including in my personal playthrough, turning off battle animations, something I never do. So, um, and I just like, let me put it this way. I've only beaten Gen 4 one time. That was my first playthrough of Pearl, all the way through. Not that I haven't tried on multiple playthroughs. In fact, I'm trying right now with Platinum. But I only ever beat those games once. The remakes, I beaten twice, and I was ready to do a third playthrough of it. But I had to stop and move on to other games. So I never ended up doing that. But it's hard for me to sit here and try to recount all the stuff that like I don't want to make this a super long video because we're already nearly 2 hours in, and I don't want to spend the entire time explaining why I like this better in the remake than the originals because I'm making a whole video based on that. But what I'll say is I really, really like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I really like them. And yeah, it's missing content that was in Platinum, but I don't miss a lot of that content. So for me, it was fun to re-experience those games in a way that made me appreciate them more. It made me appreciate the fourth generation of Pokemon more. And even playing my doing my casual playthrough right now, Platinum, I can see a lot of the things that I missed in previous playthroughs of fourth gen that I recaptured because I played the remakes and I enjoyed them so much. Though I realize I'm in the minority on this, most people think the remakes aren't great. And I don't know what your opinion is, Eski, but I will let you speak now because I said my piece.
This is probably where we disagree the most.
Oh, probably. I was waiting for this.
I'm going to start with the negative so I can end on a good note.
Yeah.
So I definitely believe that Platinum made several improvements that to Diamond and Pearl, to the Diamond and Pearl experience, and they made Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl so faithful to the originals that they did not include a lot of the changes. The improvement things that I would consider improvements from Platinum, they did not include. And I actually learned recently that that was because Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl was outsourced to a different studio on a 5-month time crunch. And it was made so hastily that there is actually not proof, but certainly compelling evidence that they may have copied certain things from the code of the original and just slapped it into the remakes, such as things like typos from the original game existing in the same places as in the remakes and such like that. So I'm going to be a bit more lenient on it now that I know the context of they probably didn't even want to make Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl at first. But my biggest issues are the Pokedex, because it did that. These games did that thing that Diamond and Pearl did, where they gave many older Pokemon new evolutions, but locked them behind the post game, and you still can't get those in Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl until you have beaten the game. Basically, there is a noted lack of fire types where, if you don't choose the fire starter, your only option for a fire Pokemon above ground is the Rapidash line.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give it any credit for stuff like that. There's still things they didn't fix. It's
Oh yeah.
like I said, I don't consider this nearly as good of a remake as the third gen ones, where the third gen ones literally fixed any complaint I had. There were still complaints I had that they didn't fix, and that's a huge one. Like the lack of fire types. But anyways, I'll let you continue what you're saying.
There were a lot of fights in Diamond and Pearl that I thought were kind of boring or were a little underwhelming. Like several gym leaders that I thought could have been done better, that I think Platinum did better, and that they just turned back on in BDSP. But for whatever reason, they made Cynthia even more difficult than she already was, which is insane to me.
I beat her first try on pure luck.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you this?
You did. You told me the story.
Yeah, but I'll tell everybody else that they don't remember. Her strongest dragon, I want to say Garchomp, but I don't think that's right. Is that Garchomp?
Garchomp, yes.
Garchomp, was like destroying my team. And out of pure luck, the gold duck I had in my team that I named after my friend Astral was sent out. I used Blizzard or Ice Beam, and I froze her Pokemon. I did not intend for the battle to go this way, and that's how I won. I got stupid lucky and froze her Garchomp.
Blamtastic.
And just to explain, like, Ice Beam was doing maybe a fifth of its health bar damage, so not that much, even though it's a super effective move. So, freezing Garchomp was like a blessing in disguise. I was like, oh my god. Because in 4th gen, I think that's the first time you could melt from frozen. So she could have easily come back from that if she hadn't already used all her full restores. Anyways, go back to what you were saying. I apologize for interrupting again.
So I'm going to intersect with one positive real quick before I continue.
Sure.
Um, I don't mind the art style. I think the chibi art style is very cute.
Mm-hmm.
However, that creates a bit of a problem when you look at how they handled following Pokemon. Because if you want my opinion, Let's Go did follow Pokemon near perfectly, in my opinion. But in BDSP, the Pokemon scaling is really off because of the art style. So large Pokemon such as like Gyarados look like they're tiny. And also Pokemon follow you at quote unquote realistic speeds. So one of my favorite examples is me having Torterra follow me around, and the poor thing cannot keep up with me walking at my slowest because it crawls at a snail's pace. And certain Pokemon that are faster than you will literally zoom ahead of you, stop, and wait on you.
That's so funny. I could just imagine Torterra just trying its best to keep up with you.
Yeah, it was so sad. I don't even take them out of their Pokeballs to follow me anymore.
And if you take out Wailord, it takes up the entire screen.
No.
That's the joke.
No, that's the problem. It doesn't.
You know why, though. Because it would clip through fucking everything.
Well, here's my solution, and I've heard many other people propose it. Use the models from Rumble. If the whole game is chibified, why not just use the chibified models you made for Rumble?
Fair enough.
I think they would have fit in really well.
Yeah.
And another small gripe I had that maybe it's just a me thing, but despite being fully 3D and you having 360 degrees of movement, the game still operates on a grid.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is squares.
Yeah.
So I found myself, especially in tight spaces where there's only like one row of tiles I can actually walk down, I find myself bumping into walls constantly, especially if I'm on a bike.
Yeah. That is a problem, I will admit that.
But sorry, I got pinged and was reading something. On the note of good things, it's still an enjoyable game. I enjoyed Diamond and Pearl. Of course, I'm going to enjoy Diamond and Pearl, but re-released. Mm-hmm. The Underground is still fun as hell. I'm a little disappointed that they replaced the secret base decorating with everything is statues now, but the Underground is still fun as hell. You've seen me spend hours down there.
Oh, I know.
Like I said, I enjoy the chibi art style, and I think it's cute. And the addition of extra outfits that you can get if you have enough money was actually a really nice touch, and I appreciated that.
Yes.
But overall, I would say my opinion on BDSP is very middling. I was very disappointed by it, but I'm not an outright hater of it like some people are.
Yeah, people were just completely like trashing this game when it came out, and I was like, and I was the person on the other side. Look, I already fucking don't like Gen 4, and this is getting me to play it twice, so I see that as an absolute win. And I think people were just harping on things like the same reason my friend Corey harps on EDF games not made by the main studio. It wasn't made by the main studio, so it's automatically not good. Like, a lot of people were saying that. And I'm like, yes, it had problems during development and whatnot. Obviously, they had a lot of crunch or whatever to meet. But just because it's not made by Game Freak doesn't mean it's a bad game in the Pokemon series.
Right.
Like that's such a lame, like a lame way to respond to something or to have an opinion. It wasn't made by Game Freak, so obviously it's bad. Like, what? That's so stupid. So when I would see people say that, I'd just be like, I'm just not going to take your opinion seriously because you obviously didn't. You're just picking something to dislike it without even giving a reason why you dislike it. Aren't you gripe ever had with BSB? Is it still Tails? That's not. Yeah, Eski was just saying that. Actually, Canny. Also, hi, Canny. But no, in
Speaking
general,
of Pokemon Go, there's a guy that still plays Pokemon Go.
there we go. We were just talking about Pokemon Go, so there we go. We found another one. But yeah, no. Like I said, we've got differing opinions. I really like the remakes. In fact, I still think they're better than the originals, in my opinion. But again, I realize I'm in the minority on that. That most people think the originals are fine, and the remake was not as good as it could have been. But I still had fun with it, and it sounds like you did too. So, um,
Yeah.
unfortunately, though, that leads us to what I would like to say the beginning of the another downward spiral in Pokemon, and it wasn't initially that way. But a few months after Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl came out, the first Pokemon Legends game, Arceus, came out. And I'll start with the positives. I thought it was a really cool concept. Pokemon taking the idea of um, what region is that again? Sinnoh, but doing it in
Yeah.
ancient times, I guess you could say, in the past.
Yes.
I thought was really cool. I thought that was a cool aspect. I thought it was really cool. This was the first game in the series where you actually could go and catch Pokemon on the overworld without having to get into combat with them. You can fight them, but you don't have to. I liked the world building. I liked the characters. I liked, even though the characters weren't as fleshed out as I would like them to be, I still thought they were great. And I liked the idea that you're part of like a group or team. I can't remember what the name of it was called, but um,
The Survey Corps.
yeah, the Survey Corps. Um, and I really liked the story
Attack
of
on
what I,
Titan out here.
I really liked the story of what I played of Legends Arceus, and I have to stop by saying of what I played because, and I've said this before, and I know what people are probably are expecting I'm about to say, but the thing that killed this game for me was the Pokedex requirements. For those of you who don't know, in this game, you progression is locked to uh, Pokemon capturing. So, and it's not just always uh, catch this many Pokemon. Sometimes it's catch this many variants of this Pokemon. And being stopped every every half an hour of gameplay to do an hour of capturing just killed the game for me. Like, I like having what I like about Pokemon is you have the freedom to get to do what you want. If you want to complete the Pokedex, you can. If you want to just capture like a few Pokemon and play through the game with that, you can. It's the freedom that you can choose how you play the game. But here comes Legends Arceus that says, no, you got to do this, or you can't play the rest of the game. You have to do this thing, and if you don't like doing this thing, fuck you, I guess. Um, and I know they were emphasizing capturing in that game. I get it. I totally get it. I totally understand. Makes sense. But when I'm getting to like the fourth or fifth chapter, and you're stopping me to capture fucking 10 Bidoofs, I'm sorry. Uh, that kills the momentum of the game for me. And I know we're gonna differ here, you and I, because I think you liked Legends Arceus a lot better than I did. Um,
Oh, I did.
and so I stopped playing. I think after like the third or fourth like major, I say quote unquote boss character, because I really like that was one of the things I really liked. I liked how the story progressed and how the bosses worked and stuff. I was like, this is really cool. I like this. But like I just gave up when I kept being asked to go capture more Pokemon. And they didn't improve this till Legends ZA, where they made that a side thing. And I appreciate that more than in this. But I'm going to stop talking because I basically said everything I wanted to say about this game. I'm going to let Eski give his opinion because I'm sure he has something more positive to say than I do. Oh, man. It's all you.
So, starting with your biggest complaint, I'm a maniac
Mm-hmm.
who liked the research aspect. And that is because
Would you
the
say you're
game
a
is about,
Pokemaniac?
yeah,
Do you happen to have a
like,
Slowpoke?
uh, I do have a little model of a slowpoke in my room actually.
Do you wear a
He's
lab
just a
coat?
chill little dude.
Anyways, sorry. Now that I've derailed you, continue.
Um, this is a game about discovery, research, learning all you can about the world of Pokemon in a way that people haven't really tried to before. And I'm saying this as somebody who has not only living dexed the game, but accomplished every single research task in the game. Now,
Jesus.
just because I liked it doesn't mean it's good. I do not think that story progression should have been gated behind extensive research like that. If anything, if you're gonna gate it like that, I would say gate it behind X number of Pokemon caught and leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
But doing so many research tasks and completing so much of the research to get through the story, I don't think was a good decision. Just
And
because I enjoyed it doesn't mean it was good.
I'm glad you said that because I felt like I was on my own in my criticism of this game when it was out because almost nearly every single person was like, "Oh, it's not that bad," and I was like, "But it is. It's like it is to me because like I'm like this is hurting my wanting to progress in this game." And like I don't know, I just feel like finally like I feel like you know, I'm not being like looked at like I'm crazy for saying that because it felt like at the time people were like, "What? That's not a big deal," and I'm like, obviously it's a big deal because I stopped playing the game." But I don't know. I again, I am not one of those people who usually typically goes for capturing. I get what I like, I play with what I like, and then I play the story. I'm not trying to complete the Pokedex. Um,
That's
but I
usually how I am, but Arceus kind of shifted me a little bit to where I started to care more about capturing, and now I'm at a point where I do go out of my way. I don't try to 100% every dex in the games I play, but I do try and catch anything that I don't own yet just to see how far I can get doing that casually instead of going out of my way to catch
and,
everything.
and that's totally fine. And I 100% am like, yes, it's okay that this game focused on capture. It's 100% okay that it did that. It just I guess wasn't for me because I was expecting something different and that's not what I got. So I
Mhm.
I was expecting more of a, dare I say, in retrospect, Pal World experience than what I got. Um
Mhm.
and Pal World something we'll probably briefly mention, but like yeah, anyways, continue what you were saying about Legends Arceus while I try not to interrupt you.
um I thought the world was really pretty. I am
Yes.
not one of those people who cares a lot about graphics, and I need this to be said. For a lot of my life as a PC gamer, I have been playing games on the lowest settings on a dingly ass laptop. So graphics have never been a huge point for me. So
Mhm.
whenever I see people complaining about how bad Arceus looks, I'm just like, pretty water. Wow, that field of flowers is so pretty. Look at these Pokemon, they look so cool. And just chewing on a piece of wood, enjoying my happy little Pokemon world.
The
Uh,
the image of the anime girl eating um like a bug. That's the thing I think of.
yeah, yeah, that's me. But Kenny, you can't just do that.
What did Kenny do?
Look in MNF real quick. You got a ping.
I got a ping in MNF.
Yeah.
The fuck. God.
Pokemaniac.
Pokemaniac.
Um,
Hey Eski, I can't believe he's posting
I
a picture of you.
no, there's not enough beard in that image to be me.
Anyways.
Um, me, I'm a lore guy, and
Oh,
I
you don't say.
love I loved the amount of lore we got out of this game, learning more about a region that was already giving us a fair amount of lore.
Oh yeah.
With because I would say it really started with Gen 2, and the legend of the three beasts and the two towers and all of that. But that was just surface level. Like, hey, here's some backstory to go with your Pokemon. And same thing with Gen 3, where yeah, we had the weather trio and the legends surrounding them. But then we get to Gen 4 and we get all of this lore about creation and the world of Pokemon before humans were really integrated into it, and the origins of all of these different aspects of life. And then we really see that elaborated on in Legends Arceus, and
Mhm.
I was eating it up like a big old bowl of M&Ms.
That was one of my favorite parts. Is this expanded like the lore and what stuff of Pokemon. It's just
Yeah.
too bad that I didn't get to explore much of it because of the gameplay shit.
Ha
But
ha 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 ha.
yeah. I wanted to play more of the game, and I tried. Like I tried, just like maybe I shouldn't stream this game. I should just play it casually, and I just couldn't get into it. I just every time I wanted to get somewhere, I feel like I was being like the game was literally putting like a wall in front of me and said, "Okay, do all this stuff first, and then you can do this." Like I don't know. I I was just very disappointed with Legends Arceus and how much it wanted to waste my time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's good things to say about it, obviously, because not only did you talk about all the positive stuff to you, but like there's stuff that I really liked about it. I love the setting. I love the idea that they're building more lore for stuff. I thought it was cool. But like as as the AVGN once said, what's the most important part of any game? Being able to fucking play it.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to, you know. Maybe there's somebody has made like you're somewhere down the line somebody will make like a patch version that like removes the Pokedex requirements and just lets you play through the story, but that's neither here nor there, and I also don't have a modded system and don't plan to for a while, so I ain't got anything else to say about Legend of Arceus other than good try, buddy, but hopefully do better next time. And they kind of did. Um, but unfortunately, the downers do not end because now we have to talk about ninth gen. And oh boy, this is I think where you and I also differ because I know you like it a lot
Yeah.
more than I do. Let me
Yeah.
start off by putting you guys in the situation this put me in. And again, a lot of people, the criticism I got about me criticizing these games was the same thing that a lot of other people said. So whoever does advertising for Pokemon is genius. Um, Look at Megas. People cared a lot about something that they really didn't put that much effort in the end. Um, for me, there were two main things that I was really disappointed of in this game. They pushed the open world aspect of Scarlet and Violet like in all of the advertising. You can go wherever you want. You can do this, whatever. But really, you can't. At least not in as intended. Um, it's what I like to call the illusion of choice. Um, yeah, you can go anywhere you want. Technically, yes, you can go anywhere you want. But you're gonna need this to get over this obstacle, or you have to complete this part of the game to get to this. Oh, and you can go to any gym leader you want, but if you don't go to the specific gym leader in the specific order that we tell you, you're gonna have a bad time. Uh, and I thought, based on the advertising, we were finally gonna get scaled gyms. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, gyms that are scaled to your actual Pokemon's levels and not to being in a order that you face by playing through the game normally. So basically, when I say the illusion of choice, you can go to any gym leader you want, but it's still linear. You still have to beat this gym leader before this one. Um, you can go anywhere except your Koraidon doesn't have the skills you need to get to certain heights. So you really can't go over there, that thing you see over in the distance yet. You have to wait till you know, get the skill for it. Um, or and then uh the the other thing that really disappointed me was the multiplayer aspect. Um, the advertisement made it seem like you could go on a journey with your friends. And yeah, you can. You can see them on the screen with you if you play with them in your little group. But there's nothing you can do together except for the raids. You can't help catch somebody catch another Pokemon. You can't help them with battles. You can't go do the gyms together. You can't do anything together except for the raids. And that really disappointed me because I was like, it just seemed like and apparently I'm the only person who took it that way because when these games came out, people were like, well, they never said that was in the game. I'm like, but that's what the advertisement made it look like. They literally said, go on a journey with your friends in one of the trailers and made it look like you play with your friends doing the same journey. And yeah, maybe it is my fault for taking it that way, but that's how they were advertising it. And I just like, and that's just the tip of the iceberg for the problems with these games. These games were optimized terribly for the hardware. Um, just for, and I'll let you speak here in a second, Eski. I'm just trying to get all this out here. Um, there at the time of this game's release, we had games like Spider-Man, which is the example I always use. How Spider-Man works is, and I'm talking about the PS4 game. Um, it loads the game as you are playing it in chunks in the background, so that when you are web swinging through the city, you don't have loading screens all the time. It's loading the game in chunks, and it's doing it efficiently because that was one of the big reasons why, you know, it ran so well on the PlayStation 4 when it came out. Like it they really figured out a way to make it so there was like no loading screens or anything. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet loads the entire game map when you load into the world. And you might think that's okay, that makes sense to do that, but it just hurts the performance of the game so much that unless you're playing it on a Switch 2, you are going to have issues. um and it makes me think that they were anticipating the Switch 2 was coming out when they released these games or was going to happen because they run so much better on the Switch 2 that it's astounding. Like to think of how I like look at. I watched you play ninth gen on your Switch 2 when you got it, and I was like astounded. I'm like, how look at how good this runs. Why didn't it run like this when it came out on the hardware it was set for? Like, and I'm just it just and oh my god, the glitches in this game. Like, I have a clip somewhere of like Violet was worse, by the way. I played Scarlet. Violet was apparently worse. I have a clip of Sky falling through the map and surfing underneath the map. And I just look at that and I think to myself, I'm like, this isn't done. They didn't finish this. They rushed this shit out. And to be fair, Legends Arceus had only come out, what, 7 months before Scarlet and Violet came out? So, and I'm pretty sure Game Freak was the main head on both of those games, main leads on both those games. So, it shows. And I just, like, here's what I'll say. I like the story. I like the characters. Especially the new rivals. I really like them. I like the new team. I can't remember their name off the top of my head, but I like them and that you have to like basically
Team
do
Star.
yeah, and you basically have to do battles with them. It's almost like adding like another gym to it. And same with getting the ancient Pokemon that you have to get the stuff or whatever it's called to get the like moves for Koraidon. I like all of that. I think
Yeah.
that's all cool. But what I don't like about it is that it's a requirement. And I just think, why have this open world if you're just going to make me play a linear game? It's such a waste. And and with that, we have the fun part of um the game running like absolute shit because the whole map has to be loaded every time you're outside of the school or a building. You could have foregone all of that and just made another linear game and it would have run so much better on the hardware. Unless you have a Switch 2 because apparently the game runs great on Switch 2, which I which is kind of insulting because the game was made for the Switch, not the Switch 2. Um and even like I know we haven't gotten to this, but even looking at ZA, I know ZA only runs at locked 30 on the Switch, but holy fuck it runs so smooth at 30 on the Switch. I've had maybe one slowdown the entire time I played the game. And yeah, it looks better on the Switch too. It runs at 60, but I've had no complaints about how Legend ZA runs on the Switch. I thought it was great. But man, Scarlet and Violet was the first time I said I am never pre-ordering a Pokemon game ever again because this is ridiculous. Like this is like I got this game day one. It runs this bad. It lied to me, and all the things that it does to try all of its selling points that it tried to do could have been reduced down to make the game run better. So I really don't have much nice things to say about ninth gen. But you know what, Eski, go ahead, because I I I don't want to be the only I don't want this to just be a negative thing. So go ahead. Tell me what you think about ninth gen. I'm ready to hear it.
Everything you said is completely valid. The game was not finished, and I do not think it should have been released in the state that it was in. I'm not going to say that these games were good or that they were finished. Just that I somehow got incredibly lucky because somehow on a launch model Switch that is as old as the Switch could be, I did not have any slowdown issues, any glitches, or anything that severely impact my playing. Somehow. So I lucked my way into a much more enjoyable experience than the average Scarlet Violet player.
I'm gonna say this now, Eski. I think you just ignored them because
No,
there's no way you didn't get any issues. Okay,
I would
if
have
you
noticed.
if you still had a Switch, I would tell you right now, fire the game up, go into the school, leave the school, and try walking around and tell me what the frame rate is. Because I bet you it's 10 frames per second.
It was fine.
Oh, it is. Oh, I don't know.
I
I think you ignored
remember.
them. I think you ignored them, man. There's no way you didn't see these problems.
No, I remembered. Now the kids in the classroom moving at 2 frames a second, and the Sunflora in Artisan when you gather them up moving at 10 frames a second or 2 frames a second. That was terrible. I remember that. The pop in and the texture swapping. I remember that. That was not good. And I do remember that during battles, if I zoomed out my camera enough, I could force the LOD models to load in for the Pokemon, which was really fucking funny. But as for like game interrupting glitches and such like that, I never ran into anything.
You're
And
lucky.
I only encountered serious frame rate issues once the Kitakami DLC dropped and I was in like very grassy areas.
Mm.
Base game, no issues.
Oh, I remember. I didn't even bother with the DLC for this game, but I remember a coworker was playing it, and he told me the game would drop to like under double digit frame rate sometimes. Like apparently the DLC was worse.
All
And
right,
I'm
it
like,
wouldn't get that
how?
bad for me, but I did have some frame drops.
I'm like,
I
how
did
could
have
it?
some lag.
And I'm like, how could it be worse? How? but apparently it is. I, s- I and up to from Gen um 8 to like to the Diamond Pearl remakes to Legends Arceus, I had been doing two playthroughs, one to stream, one personal. I couldn't justify not doing content for ninth gen. I was like, I am only playing this because there's a chance that people can find my stream. I literally only played it for content. And maybe I could get some cool clips out of it. I cared so little about these games that I was like, I'm not gonna bother playing these again. And I'm not gonna lie, I will play fourth gen 10 times over before I play ninth gen over again. I am that upset about it. Maybe when I get a Switch 2, I will try again, but I don't think so. I just I just did not like them that much. And it's so bad because all my problems are technical things. Technical things can be fixed. And maybe, you know what? Maybe when I get a Switch 2, it will fix all those problems. But probably not. Better frame rate can't save a broken game. Um, but like all the other stuff, the story, the characters, like I think it's some of the best that Pokemon has done. And it's just a shame that it's covered in like so many technical problems. Like these games were so bad, Nintendo offered refunds.
Yeah.
That has never happened. Nintendo never offers a refund. Ever. And yet, these games, they got so many complaints about these games. They did. Now, digital ones, obviously, because if you go to the store has to deal with that. But like, Nintendo has never given a digital refund for anything. Ever. Except this game. And I don't think they have since. I can't recall another game they've given a refund for. But like, it's still sold something like 20 million units or something like that. So it's still sold. People still bought it. But man, like, fool me once, fourth gen, shame on me. Fool me twice, seventh gen, also shame on me. Fool me three times, ninth gen, you're not gonna fool me again. I learned my lesson. And I remember I said, and I think it was one of the streams you and I were playing together. I say playing together, we were on the same screen doing raids. Um, I said, I will never pre order another one of these games. The next Pokemon game that comes out, like, I will see what people say about it before I even bother picking it up.
Yeah.
Uh, I just had such a poor experience with these games. And I'm like, and I was thinking to myself, all the things that people said negatively about the previous generation's games. And, you know, as much as like I didn't care about those things, I started to see where people were coming from. Like I started to see that like, there's some big cracks here. And if they don't fix them, they're going to lose more people eventually. You can only produce a bad product enough times before people like eventually stop clamoring for it. And I know Pokemon's huge. Pokemon's huge. They'll always sell even if the games are crap. But you risk harming the brand if you keep making the people who, keep the brand alive, if you keep hurting them. And so I was just very like I'm not going to let them get away with this again. Like if the next Pokemon games suck, then I'm not going to do it. Um which thankfully the next one did not suck, but I don't want to jump into that yet because I want to ask you if there's anything else you want to say before we talk about that newer game.
I didn't get a chance to say that I agree with you on the open world bit.
Mm-hmm.
That game was not open world, and I feel lied to that they told us it was.
Mm-hmm. And all they had to do was a very simple thing: gym scaling. Make it so that
Yeah.
if I want to fight the fourth gym first, there's a check in the game, a check, just a simple check in the game that says, "Oh, your Pokemon are between level 10 and 20. Okay, well, this team will be used in the gym fights instead of this team. Oh, you're level 60, 80. Well, these fights will be used instead. Like these Pokemon will be used for these fights instead." It's not a hard thing to program. They easily could have implemented that. My only thought is they didn't because they knew how bad the game ran, and that probably they were trying to make it so like any additional code they could get rid of, they did. Or they just didn't think about that, and the game was advertised poorly, which it's an unfortunate thing with Pokemon. That's why I don't trust the trailers anymore. Ninth gen is what made me go, I don't trust this anymore. You can't fool me anymore. Um, which leads me into which probably will be the last thing we talk about. We'll probably have one more topic before this about what's happening next, but the last game we're going to talk about in this podcast anyways. We might do a part 3 and talk about some of the side games because I feel like we have a lot to say about those too. Because like
Oh yeah,
I want to talk about Pokemon Snap and Pokemon Trading Card Game and stuff like that. Like,
I could go on for hours about Mystery Dungeon.
so we will probably do a part 3 at some point talking about the side game. Yeah, you told me how much you love Mystery Dungeon, and I'd love for you to tell your story about it. But we can't get to that yet. But if you guys want to see that, let us know. I'm sure we'll probably just end up doing it anyways because I'm having fun talking about Pokemon with you. So, I remember. But anyways, moving on. I remember first seeing the trailer for Legends ZA. And my first thought was like, don't be like Legends Arceus. Don't be like Legends Arceus. Don't be like Legends Arceus was my first thought. I was really excited because it was taking place in one of the most important parts of X and Y. And it was a sequel, which I thought was really cool. But I stuck to my guns. I didn't pre-order this game. One, because I didn't want to, I wanted to see what it was before it came out. And two, I was unemployed and could not afford to buy new games. Thankfully, when I finally decided I want to play the games because I saw people were having good fun with it and they actually were fun, this asshole over here did me a solid, and that's how I was able to stream the game, and I'm almost done it.
Hee hee. Hee hee.
And the only reason I took that is because if I knew I if I didn't take your offer, I wouldn't be playing these games for a long time. And I think I was already months behind, like at least a month behind everybody else because everybody was playing the game, and I was like, ooh, I kind of want to play this. And I'm gonna get you back, by the way, when you least expect it, or when you come visit. Like, stuff's gonna happen. I already owe you several dinners, at least, to some nice restaurants and stuff. And I'm taking you to the arcade. That's happening.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, Pokemon Legends ZA is really, really fucking good. I really like it. And you're going to get different perspectives here because Eski's playing it on Switch 2, or played it on Switch 2. I'm playing it on the original Switch. And so he's has the better performance. I'm going to be locked to 30 frames, but even that, the game runs and plays so good. Like, it's night and day from Scarlet and Violet. Like, it's like, oh my God, they figured it out. They figured out how to do an open world and make the game run good and make it an open world. Like, it's insane to me. You had these games Scarlet and Violet that had this giant open world that you could play in, but it was really limiting where you could go, and the game run like crap. And then you have Legends ZA that's like, yeah, it's the city is not nearly as big of Lumiose is not nearly as big as the world of Scarlet and Violet, but holy hell, there's so much to do, so much to do, so much to see. Anyways, you're not restricted where you're going except for a few instances, which you do eventually unlock the ability to do. So it's not a big thing. It tries a new progression system, which works really well. Like, not having gyms doesn't feel as big of a departure in this game as it did in maybe Legends Arceus because of the ranking system, which I think is really, really cool. The wild zones, having dedicated places where you can find Pokemon and just walk around. Yeah, it's not as cool as being able to walk around the entire world, but like, and find Pokemon, but like, I get it. It's in a city, so you have to limit it in some places. And it's really well done because the zones also tell you what Pokemon are there, or at least show you what you could catch, and then if you could caught all the Pokemon in an area, it just tells you, which is nice. Mega evolutions. There's so many. There's so many in this game, and they're all really cool. Like Mega Arceus, not Arceus, sorry. Mega Ampharos is like my favorite. And by the way, it's a shiny you can get in the game that they just kind of hand to you, but I still think it's cool. I call mine purple stuff. Um, oh man, the storyline of the game is so fun. It starts okay. I'll admit, when I first played it, I was a little upset because you couldn't go shopping right away to get clothes, which was in the first hour, 2 hours of gameplay. Once you get past that, I was able to do my femboy build and make him great. And yeah, the clothing options, there's so many in this game. It is, I will say, I will admit, like I said, all the skirts being skirts, except for maybe one, kind of sucks. But there are going to be those people out there who want to look up skirt at their Pokemon characters. And I don't know how old these kids are supposed to be, so I'm not saying anything. But like, the skirts also like shape out the butt a little bit. So in my opinion, my character is in my opinion, my character is 1920. So he's old enough to my personal lore, but like I could see also why they wouldn't want people, kids trying to do upskirts and shit like that. I get it. Um, Also, just like this game, speaking of shaped butts, this game's full of them. Like Emma, like the first time you meet Emma, the first thing you see is her ass in like
it's so good
in like tight running pants, and it's like, okay, ma'am, hello. Oh my god, the characters in this game are so good. I love I love all the characters in this. My favorite has to be Kanari. I love our streamer girl this time. Not that I didn't like her, the previous streamer girl in Scarlet and Violet, but I love Kanari. She's great. Um, she's kind of also a bit of a spoiled brat, but that's kind of neat as well.
I'm gonna be honest, I have to give it to Laban.
Laban is great. Oh man.
I love me a good feral woman.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I do like Laban. Um I also love the Rust Syndicate leader guy. I think it's so funny.
Corbeau is great.
He's so short.
Corbeau might be my favorite character in general.
He's so cool. He's the head of the mafia technically, but like he's also like the mafia benefits the entire city. Like, and it's not him saying like, not him just saying that, oh, we benefit the entire city, so we get jobs. But no, he literally does. Like it's like if Team Rocket only did all the dirty work they did to make all of Kanto better. That's kind of what it's like. Like, he's literally head of the mafia so he can control things to make Limios a better city. That's his whole goal. Like, and again, at first I was like, yeah, whatever, buddy. You're just saying that so it's a front or whatever. But then as you play more of the character, no, he actually really cares about the city and will do what needs to be done. He doesn't mind getting his hands dirty for the betterment of everybody else, which is kind of noble for a mafia. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's like, I almost wanted to say it's like Kiryu, but Kiryu still does a lot of shady shit. But Kiryu's the Yakuza with a heart of gold. So yeah, he's always interested in helping people, even if it annoys him or it goes out of his way. So kind of, I don't want to say he's Kiryu because they're different characters, but like same idea, like going out there and helping people, dirtying his hands so other people don't have to, essentially, to get it done. And just like and Team MZ, by the way, I like all the characters in that. I don't. Everybody was talking about how great Tawny was. I'm not gonna lie. I think she's not that great. She's fine.
I know nothing about Tawny because apparently her writing and her Bane's writing is a little different. So
yeah, so you can chime in on that when you get to it, because you played. Not only did you play on another console, you played as a female, so you got different characters. But the dynamic of Buff Bro and girl that looks like Ina I can't remember their names off the top of my head.
Ivor and Gwyn.
Yeah, that was a really good dynamic. I liked the both of them too.
I love
Um,
that she's just so embarrassed to even be related to him.
I she has to hold his phone because he breaks them so often. Um, I like that Kanari's grandfather is such like is like, loves his granddaughter so much that he'll even become a
He's her
VTuber.
biggest fan.
When I saw that, I was like, "Oh my god, he's a VTuber." No.
Yeah,
We're never beating the 40-year-old man
man
with
cures his own scoliosis to perform for her.
Eski, we're never beating the allegations of beating 40-year-olds with voice changers. We're never beating those allegations thanks to this game.
I
Um,
mean, we're slowly approaching it, so
yeah, I'm gonna be 38 this year, so um, but no, yeah, like it's just everything. I love the parkour stuff you do in the game. Like that's really fun.
yeah.
Like where you can go. Just I'm gushing so
The
much.
fact that there are Pokemon, the fact that there are Pokemon that spawn exclusively on the rooftops too.
The only thing I don't like is you can't catch the Mega Evolved Wild Pokemon. Because and
Yeah,
I understand from a story perspective why. I just wish you could. Um but yeah, I'm not done the game either. I still need to finish the game. I think I'm in the home stretch of it, but I still need to finish the game. Eski, you have finished the game. And in fact, didn't you say you got all did you complete the Pokedex? I can't remember if you said you did or not.
I have completed the base game Pokedex. I have not finished the DLC Pokedex yet.
Okay. And I haven't even gotten to the DLC yet because I'm still through playing the main game. Um but no, from what I played so far, I love this game. It's so good. It's so great. It's such a breath of fresh air after Arceus and Scarlet Violet. Such a breath of fresh air. Um Now again, I'm speaking from the perspective of somebody who played as the male protagonist and also who I dressed up as a femboy and also played it on the original Switch. Like I said, this game runs buttery smooth at 30 frames per second. And I know a lot of people say 30 is too slow for them these days, but I'm used to playing these games at a lower frame rate, so I don't mind it. 30 is my limit. If you go below 30 as your standard frame rate, I have trouble. Like, with some exceptions, Ocarina of Time is weird at 60 frames per second. I'm used to playing it at 20, so I can't really say much about that, but the game runs fine on the Switch, the original Switch. It does. And I have no complaints. There's maybe been one or two drops, but nothing that broke the game for me. Um, and the writing is so good for this game too. I can't talk enough about how great Legend ZA is, but we've got two perspectives here to see. And Eski, I need to hear your perspective of this game, especially since you played on different hardware and you played uh, a different character. You played the female character, so I want to hear what you have to say about this game.
I mean, there's not a lot much different to say because we both had a great time with it.
Oh my god, it's so good.
The speaking on playing and having different characters, it's really just Tawny versus Urbane, and I don't really know that much about Tawny. The next time I play ZA is going to be as a guy, so I will be learning a lot about her. But Urbane is very much your general, generic. What's the word? You're just like generic shonen protagonist. He's got a heart of gold. He wants to do good, and he just dedicates his days to going out and seeing what he can do to make people's lives better, and it's very sweet. But he's also a little bit dumb. Um, as for Team MZ, I think my favorite of all of them is probably Lita, and if no other reason than because she's really cute. I want to squish her cheeks.
I think my favorite's Naveen.
Naveen simping for Canary is probably one of my favorite gags in the whole goddamn game.
Yeah, but like he doesn't care about most shit. He doesn't let people get away with shit. Like anytime like Tawny's like he's like try my cooking, he's like no. I'll eat a sandwich instead. Thanks.
You can see him slowly warming up to it though, which is like wonderful.
Yeah, I gave him a very monotone voice because he seemed like the kind of person who's just like everything
Yeah,
was a pain in the ass. He's like, ugh, what a pain. I gotta do this now. Ugh.
he's the only one I gave a French accent to because he's apparently a Lumiose native.
Hmm. Gotcha. I mean, I will say, um, after watching the rewatching the FIFA doc, which is ironic that I'm bringing this up. French is um, one of the languages for people in Africa, and
Yeah.
it makes sense that there would be people who would eventually emigrate to France because they speak the language, and it makes sense that a character he looks like a character with African descent. I it's pretty obvious that he is. Um, but you could say that maybe his like family emigrated to France, and he's able to jive with that because French is what they speak in a lot of parts of Africa. I didn't know they spoke French in Africa. I thought that was when I learned that I was like, huh, that makes a lot of sense because a lot of people from Af- Africa did emigrate to the UK and to France and to other parts of Europe. Um, because there's a lot of French speaking people in those places, so it makes sense. So, um, but yeah, no, I just like, I didn't give anybody accents except ironically for, oh my God, I forget his name now, Shorty.
Corbeau.
Corbeau, yeah. I gave him like a stereotypical evil French accent, or not French, evil English accent, because I was like, because I thought it was ironic that he does all this good for the city, but he looks like he looks like an evil businessman. Anyway, sorry. I'll let you continue what you're saying.
Um, Honestly, I think the biggest things about this game were A, I think they did open world pretty well.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's it's a little disappointing that the game is concentrated all in Lumiose, but given what given what we have to work with, I think they implemented it pretty well with not only the wild zones themselves, but like the idea of giving you more wild zones as you progress through the game to keep things from getting stale.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very nice touch.
Yeah.
And this game did the thing that I really wanted, where once you get to a certain point, you start seeing Mega Pokemon everywhere, even in regular battles.
Yes. Yes. That's something that like megas were very emphasized in this game. Like, it's a plot point. Like, it, compared to like X and Y, where it kind of was, but it really wasn't. Um, like it's an important part of the game. You have to calm down what they call rogue mega evolutions. Um,
Yeah.
and it's usually three at a time that you have to do. And those fights are hard, by the way, because like we haven't really talked much about this, but in both Legends Arceus and Legends ZA, it's a free roaming battle system where you move and while your Pokemon are fighting. And if you get hit enough times, you could fail a battle. Like, because you have to
Yeah.
not get hit. And a lot of the
It's a
go
bit
ahead.
of a mix of tradition of the ZA battle system and the Legends Arceus boss battles.
What I love, by the way, and I'm sorry to cut you off with this, but I forgot to mention this. What I love about the battles in Legends ZA is that they've foregone PP for cooldowns, which I think is a much better
Yes.
system. It prevents one, it prevents move spamming, and two, it prevents running out of charges. So, a problem that happens in a lot of RPGs is you'll run an MP or charges, and then you can't use some of your skills. That's not a problem in this game. It's all cooldown based. So, yeah, you can't spam the super powerful move over and over again like you could in all the other games, but like the point is it's supposed to mitigate you running out of moves to use instead of, instead of being like a power like a power thing. And that's one of those things that's crazy to me about the rogue evolution stuff, mega evolution stuff, is because even if you get super effective hits with good moves, you ain't doing that much damage to these things unless you're in mega form. Like,
Yep.
and also they have patterns and ultimate attacks and stuff, and you have to dodge so you don't get hit. Because it's happened to me quite a few times where my trainer got hit enough times that I actually lost and I had to redo the fights. However, they did add the ability to continue where you left off. So if you were like near the end of a fight and you just got hit too many times, you don't have to restart the whole fight over again. You can, but you don't have to, which is nice because some of those fights take forever. But I love them. So, what can you go into more aspects? Because again, you played this on the Switch too. How did the game run for you? Did you get any slowdown? Obviously,
No. No, not at all.
Obviously, you're at 60 frames because you're on the Switch too. But
yeah, everything was very smooth and sleek.
Yeah. And so I can't imagine there'd be any, if at all, noticeable slowdowns. I know there's frame rate videos that people have released that show that there are dips, but I can't feel them at 30, and I'm sure you probably can't feel them at 60. So
yeah, I definitely can't feel them.
Yeah. So like I said, there's maybe one or two dips in the game that I noticed, but it was so minor that I was like, oh, okay, whatever, that happened. That just happens in games. They'll dip below 30 or 60 or whatever they're supposed to be from time to time. Anything else you want to say about ZA? Anything else that we maybe missed we didn't talk about?
One thing I will say is that I'm a little disappointed about the rank skip towards the middle of the game. I understand why.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why they did it.
Ha ha ha. Do you understand why they exactly did it?
I
think I killed them.
I'm going to get my revenge on you when I finish this quiz because hoo boy.
Revenge with a Z.
I'm going to pun you so hard.
Yeah, I know. He's going to punish me, guys.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I understand the reason for doing that, but I do think it would have been fun to go all the way through the ranks. I mean, they do kind of.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, I understand why they did it, and I kind of appreciated that they did it because if you had to do from Z all the way to A, that would be just a really long game. Anyways, but you were saying, my bad.
Minor spoiler for you. Not I don't really consider this a spoiler because it's kind of something that you would expect them to do, but they do eventually, once you finish the main story, they add an infinite version of the Royale where every night you can just go through battle zones and battle.
Gotcha.
So you get a similar experience of going up the ranks. There just aren't ranks. You build up to a certain amount of points, and then you have a prize match, and then you win a prize. Yay. But it's still cool.
Gotcha.
There was something I wanted to say, and I think I lost it.
I'm sorry. I probably interrupted you and you forgot it. But...
No, you're fine.
Damn right. I think, though, that pretty much sums up what we wanted to say about Legends ZA.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised. Because, like I said, the last two games just disappointed me. And it was a breath of fresh air to get a game, and technically a sequel to the Gen 6 games, and have it be such a fun, like, well-designed game. And I'm not playing 2 files in this one just because the game is so large. I don't have time to do that. And my time is different now than when it was back then. But man, there were times where I would literally just fire the game up and look around town looking for stuff because I wanted to play the game. Like, I was that interested in it that I just kept playing, doing stuff. I haven't done as much now because I've been playing, like I said, Platinum in my spare time. But I really like what I played of ZA, and I'm so close to the end. I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it even up to the end. But speaking of the end, we're getting close to the end of this podcast because we have one more topic we need to discuss before we finish. And I don't want to keep you, but we probably don't have much to say about this other than a couple of theories. But Pokemon Day's coming up. The 30th anniversary of Pokemon's coming up. And the whole reason I wanted to do this walk down memory lane with us with the Pokemon games is because it's a big year for Pokemon. We're both big fans of Pokemon, and we literally have nothing to anticipate because we don't know what's going to happen. But I wanted to take this time to talk about what we think might happen. And my personal thing is I'm hoping for Gen 5 remakes. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm hoping for it. Just please don't use the Scarlet and Violet engine if you do it. Please, 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 please don't.
Or if you do, fix it.
Yeah. If you have to make it switch to exclusive, I understand. But I won't be able to play it. That's the only thing. But I'll probably eventually get a Switch 2 so I can play it. But yeah, I want black and white remakes, and I hope they don't bend the knee to Dexit people and keep it the way it was. Because I'm gonna be honest, you kind of ruin the game if you don't lock everybody to those 150. At least until the national decks, I mean. But a lot of people say they're not going to do black and white remakes. The other thing that people are saying is they're going to do 3D gold and silver remakes with improvements from Crystal, which is another thing I would like to see. I'm totally down for that.
That'd be neat.
You know how I feel about the gold and silver remakes, so I'm definitely okay with them doing it again. Even if they have to do a Let's Go version of them, I'd be okay with that. I know a lot of people wouldn't be okay with that, but to me, like, I'm okay with them releasing a casual remake every so often. That's fine. Just drop in multiplayer back in. That'd be great. I honestly don't think we're going to hear about Gen 10. I honestly don't think we are. I think that's still a far ways away. I know a lot of people are expecting it, but what do you think? What do you think? What are you expecting?
I'm hoping for a peak at Gen 10. I'm not expecting a release date anytime soon.
We'll maybe get a sneak peek. Maybe, that's what I'll say. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like an overhead shot of what the region will look like or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe a peek at the new legendary or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think we're going to see some kind of a celebratory TCG Pocket announcement.
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of the mobile projects are going to get little announcements.
Mm-hmm.
On that note,
go ahead. Before
I forget, I'm going to send you what I pulled yesterday.
Oh yeah, I took some screenshots of something I got in a Wonder Pull. I expect that we're finally going to get more information on Shiny Dawn fan, nice. EX.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing that I think we're going to hear more about is that Pokemon Stadium-esque game that I'm actually getting more excited for.
I'm really curious about that.
I'm really interested about it. I want to see more of it. It's not called Stadium. I forget what it's called, like Battle something. I don't know.
Pokemon, it's not Arena, I don't think. I don't remember.
No. But I think, like, if we're talking, like, main stuff, like, one of those two remakes, I'm hoping will happen. I'm assuming the black and white one is more viable than a gold and silver one. Just because, like, even though a lot of people don't think black and white need a remake, it's been long enough that they could use one. And it just makes me think, how far are they going to go? Like, in 4 years, are they going to announce an X and Y remake? Maybe. For all the people who played ZA. And maybe need a refresher. But I don't see that being, like, for a while. I think if they did black and white, it'd be really cool if they did black and white and black and white 2 together, but that would be... Why would they sell both of the games to us once when they could sell them to us twice, right? So... I don't know. One thing that I would like to know is the release dates of Coliseum and XD Gale of Darkness coming to Switch 2. They tease them, and they're not out yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love that.
You know? I don't even think Sunshine's on the app yet, is it? I don't know. The GameCube app. Is Mario Sunshine on there yet? Because that was one of the ones that they like were promoting, but it's not even in the app when it launched. I was like, why is Sunshine not in there? What the fuck? Especially because last year was a Mario anniversary and they didn't release it. What the hell? But no, yeah, like XD Gale of Darkness and Coliseum. Let us know when those are coming to the Switch too. Like, you guys teased them already. Just tell us when they're coming. I'd like to play those games.
Oh, there is an update for the GameCube app.
Oh, there is? Ooh, okay, maybe it is out. I don't know. But that's really all like my predictions. Like I just don't like I don't think there's like anything else that I can really think of. Pokemon Company seems kind of app crazy because what do we got? We got TCGP, we got Go, we got Sleep, we got Masters. It's like, and the cafe one, like, I don't know how much more apps they could make. Unite's still going, like, so I'm sure they're gonna release some app of some kind, but I'm just like, I only cared about TCGP at this point. Myself. It's one that I play daily, so I always got to do my Pokemon TCGP and my Nikkei dailies every day, except the few times I miss my Nikkei dailies. But I get scolded by you guys if I miss them. So,
Yeah.
which I did do my dailies already, so don't have to ask me. But yeah, no, I don't have anything else I can think of to predict for Pokemon Day or the 30th anniversary in general. I mean, what I would like a collection of the Gen 1 games for Switch. It's not going to happen, and if they do release it, it'll be $100. But I would like that. And I would like a physical release of them. Hell, I'll buy it without owning a Switch 2 if it's Switch 2 exclusive. Just so I can have it.
Yeah. You are a collector.
I am a collector, yeah. And I'm starting a new job next week, so I'll be able to buy games.
Hell
again.
yeah.
I don't know when I'll be getting paid, so I don't know if I'll be able to get Yakuza Kiwami 3 when it comes out, but I will eventually get it. Don't you dare. I'm telling you no now. I'm telling you no now.
I'm still waiting on news about that whole situation.
Yeah, that whole situation, yeah. I mean, it sucks, but I'm also like, it's one aspect of the game. If it was Kiryu, I would be upset.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, I'm not picking this game if you did that. Or if it was like a major character, like if they did that to Majima. Could you imagine? They're never going to do it to those characters because they're important. So, but
correct.
Yeah. And maybe this character is important to the story of 3. I don't know, but
he is.
He is. Is he like the main villain or something?
I don't know. Yeah, he's an antagonist.
Well, I mean, I get to punch him, so there's that.
Yeah.
So the way I look at it,
cause his downfall.
Yeah, we get to punch him. So yeah, he's not a hero, which is the thing that I'm making me go like, okay, because I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, if he's one of the villains, I get to beat him up. So, and possibly kill him. So, but Kiryu never kills anybody.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm trailing off. Is there anything else you want to say about Pokemon Day? 30th anniversary? Anything you're hoping? Like, let's say pie in the sky. Like, it might never happen, but if it did, you'd be very happy.
New Mystery Dungeon game.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Wait, isn't there like... There's sequels to the Mystery Dungeon games, right?
Yeah. There's the Explorers of the Sky, Gates to Infinity, there's Super Mystery Dungeon.
Pokemon Conquest remake.
God, I know nothing about Conquest.
I liked it, but it got really repetitive because it's a I love tactical RPGs, don't get me wrong, but like they get repetitive real fast.
Hmm.
So uh
Is
it's
does it play sort of like
it plays kind
Fire
of like
Emblem
Fire
or
Emblem, yeah. And I like Fire Emblem, but I get
okay?
tired of Fire Emblem really quickly. I'm more of a Final Fantasy Tactics kind of player. That's what I prefer in my tactical games, like Ogre Battle and stuff like that. And Tactics Ogre, those kind of tactical RPGs. I don't hate Fire Emblem, I just get bored of them really fast. Um, I think the furthest I ever got was Awakening. I almost beat that game, but yeah, it's very much coded in Fire Emblem, and I think it's similar developers. So, or no, it's Tecmo Koei. I think. I don't know. I'd have to check. Anyways, I liked what I played at Conquest, but I stopped playing it after a few weeks. So, um, yeah, that goes to show you. But no, I think those would be nice. Like remakes of some of the side games. Um, if they remade the original Pokemon Snap, I would hate for them to do it in the new Snap style because I did not like that game. But I'll talk about that if we do a part three of this and talk about side games.
Uh,
Um, I would love a Pokemon Stadium remake. That'd be fun, but we probably don't need that because it's on the Nintendo Switch app. So, um, yeah, don't need that. But yeah, I can't think of anything else. Um,
I don't think I have anything either.
Pokemon Picross port. That'd be nice.
Pokemon Puzzle League remake, please.
Oh my god, Puzzle League. Anyways, we could be here forever talking about the third party games. Um or not third party, but side games. We'll talk about those probably in another podcast if you guys want. If you guys like these, let me know in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube or in the chat if you're active in the chat if you'd like to see that or whatever. Before we finish off though, Eski, do you have anything more in the pipeline that you're planning? uh, as opposed to 2 weeks ago when you were last on the podcast? Anything you want to talk about, promote?
Just working on the quiz, which is going to be very fun.
Which I will be streaming, and he'll probably turn into a YouTube video at some point if he ever gets off his ass and edits his
Yeah.
YouTube videos.
Yeah.
The only reason you started working on the quiz is because I was like, "Hey, Eski, how's that quiz coming along?" You're like, "Oh, I should actually make that now."
You know what's funny? You know what's funny, actually? I asked our IT guy at work because part of his job is monitoring how we use our laptops at work.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally asked him if it's okay if I can sign into my Google account and edit projects on my Google account during my break. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. So I've been working on the quiz during my lunch breaks at work.
Yeah, so you're going hard on it because you did show me a couple of screenshots, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great."
Yeah,
We'll have to. I'll have to reach out to the contestants soon, and because you're gonna have it
it's gonna be
finished.
great.
I'm excited. I'm really excited to see it come together. Anything else you want to talk about, or just the quiz is the main thing you wanted to focus on?
That's probably the main thing.
Um, as for me, as some of you know, I do have a schedule. Tomorrow is the Superb Owl, the big game. So I'm not streaming tomorrow, even though I normally don't stream on Sundays unless it's a stream on the other site. But no, I won't be streaming tomorrow because I'll be at a party for the Superb Owl, even though I'm not a big sports ball guy or cat. Uh, I go for the camaraderie and the food. My mom makes this special chili that I bring to the party every year, and so people are like really excited for it. Normally my dad comes, but he's off golfing in South Carolina right now, so um, I will be bringing mom's chili this time and going to the Superb Owl party without my dad, which is weird because he's the sports guy. Um, but no, yeah, that's what I got coming up. I got to make a dip after this stream actually for tomorrow as well. Um, but next week, gonna continue Virtue's Last Reward with Sky and Karama on Monday. Tuesday, more Pokemon Red. We're getting close to the end of that. Wednesday, Helldivers 2, because my PSN has run out. So I can't play Monster Hunter, but I can play Helldivers 2. So we're gonna do that.
Oh hell yeah!
It'll be an RCG, so if you want to hop in for that, by the way, on Wednesday, you're
Oh
welcome to.
absolutely.
You're welcome to.
Oh fuck, Wednesday. Damn,
You got
I
something going on?
forgot. D&D.
Oh, okay. All good.
Yep.
we got Blondie in one role and a couple other people
So,
interested. So
side note,
yeah.
Chibi Robo, Luigi's Mansion, Wario World, and Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. That's all that's gotten added.
Okay, you know what? Some of those games are rare, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm going back to what I was saying. Because I want a PSN, I won't be able to do more It Takes Two on Saturday. I'm probably going to do more Pokemon ZA on Saturday, ironically enough. And Saturday evening, I don't know. We might take a break. We might do something else because Yakuza Kiwami 3 is not out yet. so so we won't be playing that, but yeah, we'll figure something out. Maybe we'll do our part 3 of this podcast. I don't know. If we want to talk about Pokemon some more. If we're not Pokemoned out. Um or I'll find something to do. We'll figure something out. Anyways. But yeah, that's the plan. And and I have a YouTube video I'm working on. It's just taking a while. I've had other stuff I've been working on. I will be making it soon. It's not going to be a huge video, but it's going to be about a game that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. So take a look at my review channel.
Hell
if you
yeah.
wanna take a look at that. And yeah, I'm going to also give a shout out to my my co-host here, so you can follow them for when the quiz comes out. Yeah, go follow Eski.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure to have you on the podcast, Eski. You might be showing up more, just because there's plenty of topics we could talk about. If we ever have to do a Xenoblade episode, I know I have to call you.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. You know, it'd be fun.
What's that?
We probably don't need to do one for a while, but I'd like to do like when I'm caught up on the story of Nikke, I'd like to do a Nikke episode where it's just you,
That
me,
would be great.
you, me, maybe Robbie, maybe Kenny if he behaves himself.
Maybe
talk-
Karama?
Maybe Kurama, because she does play Nikke. She has a lot to say. It's so funny. I have that group
Hold
chat.
up. Hold up.
Yeah. What?
There's Barto.
Barto.
Barto. Oh no, he's coming in for some water.
Oh, okay. He's not there for your shit.
No, he's just toasty. Hey, buddy.
The group chat that I have with Sky and Kurama, it's usually Sky and I talking about something like old from like the 80s, 90s, and Kurama having no idea what we're talking about. Or Kurama and I start talking about Nikke, and then Sky's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. And we're just like, Hun, Butt Lady Gun Game. She's like, oh, okay. Because Kurama would always be the first to be like, hey, did you see the updates? I'm like, what updates? And then she'll just send them all to me. I'm like, heh. And this guy's like, what? What are you guys talking about? Like, Butt Lady Gum Game, hun. We're about to get an ad, but I'm gonna try and find someone to raid during the credits. Let me just take a look at my list here. And by the way, as it goes without saying, always a pleasure to have you on, Eski. And like I said, very high chance you're gonna be on the podcast again, because you're one of my closest friends in this whole scene thing in general as well. And we vibe very well, and we work off each other very well. And as you can see, we talk for 3 goddamn hours. So we know it's
I farted and a poopy almost slipped out.
Exactly. I don't know if anybody in LTN's live other than me. No, it just looks like me. Let me check my who's live in my server while I find somebody.
Let me also check my sidebar.
Yeah, is there anybody? Last time we requested somebody, it ended up being someone I really liked and got along with. So this is June.
Oh hey, and June is live. June is live now.
Should we raid June again?
Who's this fucking Zeromaster person
I don't
streaming
know.
talk shows and podcasts?
I don't know.
Mew is live.
Mew is live. Yes. Mew actually went live while we were chatting. I got the notification while we were chatting. Let me see who else we got here. Nightcat's also streaming. You know what? Maybe we'll do Mew. We both know Mew. I like to think we get along with Mew. She's looking at Ninjala stuff. Or not Ninjala. Ninjago Lego stuff. Oh, she's talking about Lego again.
What?
She's one of those Lego people.
Her stream is tagged as Marvel Rivals.
I know. She probably messed it up. She's also does camera builds of Lego stuff on stream often.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys like that, but I think she's looking at Lego lore or something. I don't know. The Jagos, whatever those are.
Ninjago.
Yeah. But before we do this raid, is there anything you would like to say before we end the podcast, do this raid, and sign off?
Everybody just remember, 1, 2 shakes, you're just cleaning off. 3 or more, you're playing with it.
It's like Good Charlotte always says, shake it once, that's fine. Shake it twice, that's okay. Shake it 3 times, you're playing with yourself again.
Yep.
Exactly. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Eski, for being a guest once again. We finally finished our 5-hour yap about Pokemon, but we might continue and do more because there's so many more games and anime and crap that we could talk about when it comes to Pokemon. But we're going to raid Mew. And I'm going to give you guys those raid messages that I normally use if you're subbed, and the other one if you're not subbed. And we are going to end off this podcast. Guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you once again, Eski, for joining us. And we will see you guys in the next podcast episode. Take care. Comb your hair. In a rush, use a brush. Don't do drugs. Stay in school. Eat your teeth. I'll see you next time on Cheat. Go say hi to Mew for me, and enjoy the Superb Owl if you're going to watch it tomorrow. If you're not, just have a fun day.
I'm going to go watch Iron Lung tomorrow.
Oh, hell yeah. Let me know how that is.
Yep.
Okay. Bye, everybody.